Yes.
I made a bad mistake yesterday.
I agree. You 100. What this time?
Okay, so last night I got everything ready for the podcast, and I still had like an hour, and I was like, I only got an hour until I can go to bed and be like mostly tired and not absolutely delirious. But I don't want to load up Baldur's Gate 3 because like that game's been eating my brain, and so only you will be able to understand this bad decision. So I was like, I'm going to load up that I Am Future game that Amanda and I played.
Oh, no.
That'll be easier. What I didn't take into consideration was the fact that Baldur's Gate has like stopping points.
Yeah.
And I Am Future just keeps on going.
Why, of all things, the video in which we lost track of time and ended up
directly called out.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know, because I'm stupid. That's why.
Yep.
Welcome back to RageSelect. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm stupid, Jeff.
I'm less stupid, Amanda. Not still stupid.
Yeah.
Just less stupid.
Just in a different way.
Just in a more fun and colorful way.
You guys should hear the conversations that Amanda and I have when we're not recording.
No, you
this.
should not hear those conversations.
Yeah, we got a big chunk of news this week. A hunk of burning news. But before we get to that,
we got a deep dish of news.
That's right. I watched that Spider-Verse last week.
Oh,
I
nice.
watched that in Across the Spider-Verse
Did you
last week.
enjoy it?
I don't know.
I still haven't seen it.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. Let me say the things that like kind of like mitigating factors.
Okay.
Like having an opinion about this movie, I feel like there's a few mitigating factors. One, the first movie, I didn't believe the hype, and then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit, I get it now."
Yeah.
And then I watched the second one, and it had been so hyped up that I think my expectations were just like through the roof.
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and I was like, The other thing is that like it's a part 1 of 2, and it really just does jack shit to even leave you in a good place.
Like a satisfying
and it was
kind
like
of thing.
2 hours and 20 minutes long, and I was like, you guys could have cut like 40 minutes out of this movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, right, but then you'd still only be halfway through it, an hour and 40 minutes, and so the whole movie would have been rushing to get a 3.5 hour movie. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I watched Fast X. I didn't know that was a part 1 of 2, but I kind of enjoyed that because it was just dumb driving and explosions and Jason Momoa in a frilly costume, and I was like, okay. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think it's as good. I think so far the best comparison that I have, and I think that this is very specific, is it feels like the Lego Movie 2.
Okay.
Where I really like the first Lego Movie a lot.
Yeah.
And the Lego Movie 2 is not a bad movie at all. I have gone back and watched it several times.
Yeah.
But it's just not quite as like... was it a Tim and Eric sketch where the guy's doing the brain explosion? Like it's not quite as good as the first one, but I also don't feel like I can really even make a judgment, because it could be that when I watch the second half, I'm like, oh shit, there's all the stuff. The first half was all set up, and then we're just going to hit the ground running the second half.
Which is fine, but isn't that also the issue with having these 2-part movies and shit? Like that. So you made a okay, not great movie so that we can have a great movie later.
It's kind of, you know what? I would say that like
it's the side salad before your entree, and it's like, but sometimes I just want an entree, man.
Yeah.
This
like,
is Olive Garden. You don't have to get too fancy.
No
with
matter
it.
how good these mozzarella sticks are, I'm going to want something else.
Yeah, right?
I'm not just going to eat nothing but unless you get an appetizer sampler. That's a whole dinner right there. You get a couple chicken wings.
You know what?
You get some curly fries.
But 100%, the Spider-Verse is an appetizer sampler, because you just got little bits of every other spider person.
Yeah, but it's an appetizer sampler where you've got other people at the table.
Are we hungry? I'm starting to get hungry.
I always eat right before we record, and nobody else does, so that everybody gets hungry during RageSelect. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I was going to say it kind of reminds me of like, you know, you go when you. I think. I don't know why. I think Fellowship of the Ring is like my least favorite of those movies, because
is that controversial? I don't know.
I think it is.
What people's like big
I
whatever.
think it's all just set up. Like that, nothing big happens. Fucking Sean Bean dies. So what? He always dies.
Yeah.
He dies everywhere.
Oh, shock there.
Yeah.
Sean Bean dies?
It's like there's so much setup in that movie, and then at least in the second one, you get to the end of it, and fucking Saruman gets killed, and then the third one, and then you fucking finish it out, right? So I'm not a big fan of a whole movie of setup, but then it's always possible that when the second one comes out, it's just like all that setup was to build up to something that could not have existed without 2 hours of setup. It's almost like.
But at that point, doesn't it need to be a television show?
Doesn't it? Yeah, I was just about to say that. Shouldn't it just be like 40 minutes of television?
Yeah, because if it's like 2 hours.
Like a full season, a full 12 episode, hour long.
Like you could do a good 8 episode show.
Yeah.
That's just like solid Spider-Verse stuff if at that point.
Also, those Spider-Punk rules. I will say that.
Yeah,
Spider-Punk unambiguously rules. I'm not.
It's Daniel Kaluuya. Please.
I'm not a Spider-Man guy, so I like the fact that...
My favorite is people getting mad that he's black and not knowing that he was always black. Like, really? Like,
yeah. So Spider-Verse. I also just built it up too much, I think. But it was fine. I don't know. I probably should have just waited for both of them to be out. What about you? You see anything good? You watch anything good? Play anything good?
I haven't been watching new stuff because it's just been difficult getting to the theater. I can't remember we went to the theater, but I don't remember what we watched, so it couldn't have been that good. But this last week I've been I'm ramping up. It's getting to spooky season.
Right.
So I watched The Exorcist, The Exorcist 3, The Changeling. I watched... Mask of the Red Death and House on Haunted Hill.
I like the idea that you're just like, I don't have time to watch a bunch of episodes of a TV show.
I don't.
Like, what movies did you watch? Like 6 horror movies in a row?
Just 1 or 2 every day for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And in fairness to me, 2 of them I did fall asleep during.
Okay.
Which is not good. I don't do well with falling asleep and having something on in the background. It'll infiltrate my brain.
Oh.
And you don't want to fall asleep during Exorcist 3. There's a lot of monologues about murder.
There's a lot of screaming. Whenever I nap, I put on like a TV show, and then inevitably there'll be like one episode where there's some loud fucking. Ooh, did you? Sorry, this is Austin people. We got to do this real fast.
Yes.
Did you get all the alerts?
Yes.
All those fucking alerts?
So it's bad, right? No. Okay, so what happened was there was, I forget what it's called, like a blue alert.
Yes.
They're like, a cop was injured and we're looking for the culprit.
It was in Houston.
It's like and it's like an Amber Alert. Like if you guys know the Amber Alert noise, that horrifying thing. Mm-hmm. So it happened 2 or 3 times. I've heard some people say theirs only went off twice. Mine and John's went off 3 times. You have to think about this though. All phones don't get those alerts at the same time.
Yeah.
John and my phone went off 6 times in total. 3 on my phone, 3 on his phone, and not at the same time. So it was like we could not get any fucking sleep. I cannot tell you how much that blue alert made me a cab, but I was like, I'll find that cop.
It was like, I got like 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. I got like 2 in a row, and then I got one that was just like this really ominous, like, warning, danger in your area. Do not leave your house.
Yeah, we kept right when you'd hit REM, it would
right. And then I stayed up way too late playing fucking video game, and I went to sleep. I was like, I can get like 5.5 hours of sleep. It'll be bad, but I think I could do this. And then halfway through,
it's
fucking
so
boom,
funny.
like,
everyone I know from Austin has had the same like, fuck that shit, fuck Houston, fuck that cop, fuck that guy, fuck everybody.
I mean, like,
we're all tired and we're all mad.
It's it would have been okay if it was happening in Austin.
Yeah,
it was happening in Houston.
That shit is so fucking annoying.
Anyway. So yeah,
we're tired. It was 114 degrees today.
It was so hot.
I don't have AC in my car.
Oh god.
There was a big rig that was fucking literally blocking the road, so I was 20 minutes later getting here than I would have been.
It's just bad.
Some lady wanted me to buy her syringes. It's been a weird day.
It's been a lot, you guys. It's been a lot. That's why we're gonna stop talking about life. We're gonna start talking about video games. Yeah. So we had there was a showcase last week.
Oh, was there?
It was a weird one because it was the THQ Nordic showcase, which is a
fun
weird showcase. Like THQ Nordic, they publish stuff.
But dude, that's their slogan. THQ Nordic.
I don't know.
We publish stuff.
Sure. Here's some video games or something, I guess.
Is that the?
So yeah, we started with David Harbour, given a monologue about being Edward Carnby and Alone in the Dark. I'm starting to think this Alone in the Dark game is going to be really bad, but
I know, but I really like David Harbour, so
I really like Jodie Comer, but yeah, no gameplay, no nothing. It just
it's just like a black room.
The showcase starts and ends with these monologues, and I don't know if that's supposed to be one of those, a thing.
This looks like LA Noire to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, with like the real high-tech facial capture.
Yeah, where they just like spend a lot of time being like, but look at the facial capture. And it's like, but is it a fun game? But look at the facial. Like,
but the capture.
But the face. Did you look at the face?
Yeah. Anyway, so that happened.
Can I be the person that plays Alone in the Dark with you?
Sure. I don't care.
I really want to. I don't know why, but I don't want to play it, but I want to witness it.
Make fun of other people playing it. From there, there's it's hard to tell whether I only got 4 hours of sleep or whether this game actually looks like balls, but there's a new South Park called Snow Day. It's 3D, which I think looks terrible considering that they already have like a 2D. They have the stick of truth and
why would you make it 3D?
I don't know. They literally call it out, and it seems like it's some kind of online multiplayer action game where like there's all the little kids are like slashing each other and doing stuff, and it seems like, you know what? It really just throws me back to when South Park games were bad. Yeah. Like the Separate But Whole and the Stick of Truth. Those were both really fun games where I was like, oh, you guys finally got what South Park is about.
You mean versus the N64 shooting game,
right?
Was
there was
that
like N64, or I don't know. There was a kart racing game also that happened. But this just, I don't know. This looks awful to me.
It doesn't look great. Yeah, but I don't know. It's also not my style of gameplay, so it's like, why would I want to play that?
I don't know. I think it would have been better if they had just stuck to that 2D style and had the same thing if they wanted to. But I don't know.
How do you do like a battle kind of multiplayer game with 2D?
You could do it. You could put them on a 3D field and have them kind of go up and down a little bit, or you could just, have levels instead where you're kind of going back and forth. I don't know. All I know is that this game looks like
just don't do this.
Looks like ass. Like the fact that they rotate around Eric Cartman's spherical 3-dimensional head, and then he's just got the drawn on features on the front. Yeah. It's so gross.
Yeah.
Like
it is kind of weird because he's flat but round.
Yep. So that's 2024. Oh God, I hate YouTube chat replay so much. Let's see. From there we saw what is the name? It's Outcast. I don't know if it's got like a Outcast: A New Beginning.
You want the new beginning? I am the new beginning.
This is a very weird property, Amanda. I don't know. Let me see if I can find the old PC footage. Nope, not football.
PC football.
There we go. Outcast PC gameplay. So this is like a really, 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 really old like 3D open world game where you play as like this guy that goes through a portal and he ends up on another planet, and then like he goes out and it's, oh my God, get past this cutscene.
It's all this cutscene,
and it's really old. So like at the time, this was very impressive. This kind of big open voxel.
Yeah, this is one of those things was impressive and is now terribly difficult to look at.
Yes. But they're taking that franchise and then like rebooting it, or I don't know.
So like in fairness, I'm not mad at them rebooting it because that looked like shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously.
So like
it's one of those things where we're starting to reboot stuff that's so old that you have to explain to people what it was before it got rebooted.
Do you know how hard it is to explain to people like, no, but like this was the coolest shit, and then you show them and it literally looks like a box with a face painted on it.
Yep.
Like, no, but it was really good.
Actually,
our eyes weren't used to it back then.
The funny thing about this one is that actually, when I look at it, the trailer for this actually does look pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't look bad.
It's like a big kind of Pandora-ish open world, and one of the big things it seems like is that your guy has like a jetpack and can really just use it wherever. So You can kind of fly around the world. You can hover. There's apparently a whole system where you can like tame the big weird animals.
What the fuck? That looks like a flying snuffleupagus.
Yep, he's got all those pods.
Or the guy that owned Anakin Skywalker as a child. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sebulba?
Yeah.
Sebulba. And they show
your
that
Jedi tricks don't work here.
That would be Watto.
Well, that guy, isn't that?
Whoa, Watto? Okay, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like a Watto.
He's got the long nose. That's what I was talking about.
Apparently, he could drive that thing around. He could drive that big Watto monster around.
Hell yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, the thing is that it looks weird, and it's so strange that I remember trying to play the original when it came out.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. I get the feeling though this is going to end up being like, what's that game? LX2, or like it's going to come out and there's going to be like 500 people that really like this game.
Yeah.
And everybody else is going to be like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the remake of the other game you've never heard of?
Yeah, that is fair. I don't think it has enough of a fan base that anyone's like dying for it,
right?
And so unless you care beforehand, you're probably not going to care now. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
So as long as it's like that doesn't, he's like cut back to the old one. It's like, ah! But yeah, I don't know. It looks really cool. I wouldn't play it, but it's just not my style of game.
Yeah. It's kind of open world action. I'm trying to figure out if it has a release date yet. No, okay, it's still coming soon. Yeah. From there, we got this is one of those weird ones.
Is that fucking Hot Wheels race crash?
No, it's called Recreation, WRECK, Recreation, and it's like it seems like a combination of like Trackmania and Hot Wheels, where you like drive up to an area and then you can like open up this builder and build tracks, and then like you and your friends can fucking race on them, and it allows you to make like these big, huge loop-de-loops and like to put all these like buildings and props and like a little special effects and ramps everywhere.
This looks like a Twitch game. Like, this looks like a game that is exclusively made because Twitch streamers will have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look like something I would give a shit about, but it does look like something I'd watch several parts of somebody else playing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look fun, but at the same time, it looks like it's meant to be watched.
It doesn't look like the sort of thing you'd want to quietly play by yourself in your house. Like, they even show, I mean, what they're showing here is multiplayer, where each one of the colors is a different person adding to the track. So, like, you and your friends could be in a multiplayer game and then collectively build like interesting tracks and then race on them and whatnot. I'm only just like okay with racing as a concept.
Yeah.
So the idea of putting this much like specialty work in.
Can they do that for Mario Kart? Can we get a Super Mario Kart maker? There
was a game that was kind of like that, I believe, on the PlayStation 3, but probably not. I don't know. Maybe Nintendo will.
Because every level would just be Rainbow Road.
Right. It's possible. I don't know, that maybe Nintendo will look at like Tears of the Kingdom and all the like building stuff and Mario Maker and be like, oh, that would be a good thing to put. But I mean, I think that Nintendo just recently put out the like 6th track pack for the Switch Mario Kart, like the remastering all the old tracks and stuff. So
I'm just saying they probably make a lot of money off of it. I don't think they're worried about making money though.
It was the Lego racing game. Well, you and I played Hot Wheels one, and that one was really fun. Just because it was just like, I don't know, you're playing Hot Wheels, right? And then Michael and I played the Lego one where you had to drive around and get new cars and do weird quests. This doesn't, I don't know, this seems too much like Trackmania, and Trackmania seems too serious, and I don't know. It just doesn't look like my bag.
Catch it from your favorite Twitch streamer.
Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got a very strange, again, THQ Nordic is like, they're really dipping into the old shit. So we got an announcement for Titan Quest 2. Now, Titan Quest came out a long, long time ago, and it was essentially Roman Diablo, like Diablo in ancient Rome, and it was very well received.
Yeah, I mean, that does kind of sound like a winning combination.
Yeah, so they put out a they put out this teaser for the second one, and it's all just talking about the fates and blah 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 blah. But like the first one was very just like back when Diablo was a thing, and it was like, what if we made Diablo but we made it in ancient Rome, and then like instead of magic it was gods, and instead of skeletons it was satyrs and barbarians or something. So so this isn't a bad idea, especially with the fact that Diablo 4 apparently is just the biggest fart that ever farted out of a butt.
I literally can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Jeff.
It's terrible. It sucks. I didn't play it. It's a new Diablo game, and I was like, I tried playing it 5 times, and I was like, no. pass. So
maybe this will fill that void.
Something that's not just like incredibly grimdark, I say, as a giant black cloud starts vaporizing.
Would you
Roman
say it's
soldiers.
a giant grimdark cloud?
It's a giant cloud of grimdark just coming in, blast on people.
When you say it like that, it just makes me feel like it's like some emo song starts playing. Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That looks cool, though. I mean, visually, it's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is all just like pre-rendered sizzle, right? But
yeah, I don't care. Sometimes the nice sizzle is all you need.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting. That was new. That was different. Nobody, I think, saw that coming.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. From there, this is a very... Okay, I got to remember what the name of this is. I don't have... Okay. Let me start at the beginning. This is called Last Train Home, and apparently it is going to be a kind of a like a strategy game where you're driving, like it's like, I think they said it's like Czech soldiers in World War II, like trying to drive this train out back home, like through occupied territory.
Yeah.
The little trailer, not little, it's actually a really long trailer. The trailer that they put out for it has a lot of live action cut-ins.
Yeah.
Like it shows the kind of...
Yeah, it showed a bunch of guys strategizing. Wow, it's straight up showing some
like guys shooting guns.
Yeah.
Like with, I don't know if
running into formation.
Yeah, I don't know if the live action stuff is part of the actual game itself.
Or if it's just trailer.
Yeah, or if... Because it's like, it seems like it's pretty well produced. Like they've got a train, they've got guys, they've got like period uniforms and guns and stuff. So... this definitely seems to me like a combination of like, there's a game called Frostpunk where you're trying to keep everybody from freezing to death. It seems like one of those really grim, difficult like games of attrition, like Darkest Dungeon or Frostpunk, where you're desperately trying to keep everyone alive because you have very finite resources. I guess maybe the example of this is like Oregon Trail, right?
Yeah.
Where, anything that happens has big stakes because you don't have any friendly areas.
Yeah, because you named every person after somebody you know, so that when they die of dysentery, you have to be like, sorry, Mom.
Oh, no, Mom. I knew you should have drank from that stream.
Grandpa got hit by an ox.
So, yeah, it's really weird. I've never heard of this before, and I think that there's like a really big niche category.
This seems like it would have like people that want to play it, but I would cry every time somebody died.
I mean, just like
you're like, rewind time. Pikmin allows you to rewind time when your Pikmin die.
I haven't lost one yet.
So I almost 100%ed the game. I've lost like 6.
Yeah.
And that's it, because there's a point where I'm like, I'm not replaying this fucking boss.
I wish that I could make fun of you, but there's a kind of an argument that's happened with Baldur's Gate 3. Do you know what save scumming is? Save scumming is where you just like constantly are saving.
Yeah. And
then if something goes wrong, you're just like, no. Nope.
Yeah.
And I'll try to be fair about it. But like there's one point where I came across 2 groups and they were just like, side with one of us, and I was like, no. And then they just started fighting, and then everybody died because then they started attacking me, and so I killed everybody. And then I went and used the spell Speak with Dead, and one of them was like, I was a secret agent working for this organization. I was like, God damn it. And so I like rewound back to the beginning, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm on you guys' side.
That's funny.
But yeah, these types of games are not for me. They always just make me itchy and sweaty and they uncomfortable.
That kind of stress is too much for me, and I'll get to a point where they're like, you have to make a decision. I'm like, or I'll never play this game again. You guys will live in perpetuity. Welcome to purgatory, baby.
Like Frostpunk tries to make you make these really grim decisions where they're like, well, should people starve to death, or do you want to give the order that it's okay to eat corpses? And I'm like, how about quit and uninstall?
Yeah.
That's my solution. I'm the Kobayashi Maru in this shit. I'm hitting the Gordian knot over here with the uninstall button.
Really leaves you in like, I don't know. How do I play this and order a Domino's pizza at the same time? It's just not going to work out for me.
Ooh, extra sausage. Put the orphans to work.
I got the perfect solution.
Let's see.
Give me your soul.
From there, they're this really kind of precious in a bad way little trailer for Trine 5 is coming out. Trine is the franchise where there's like 3 characters and you switch between them.
Yeah.
And in here it's like there's a guy and he's playing and then his like roommate comes home.
And they fist bump.
And then the roommate joins in and they start playing.
And then the cat joins in.
And then this goth chick shows up. And then like she starts playing too. Oops, I went back to the beginning.
You skipped the goth chick?
Okay, fine.
I'm trying to enjoy it.
I'm getting back to the goth chick.
I'm trying to enjoy my time here, Jeff.
Okay, there we go. All right, there she is.
Oh, yeah.
She's like super goth.
What the fuck?
Like, I don't know why she's hanging out with this fucking loser and then the business guy.
Look at her fucking... Oh, my God. He, like, bows to her and hands her the controller.
And then he just picks up a different controller. They're still playing.
Why wouldn't she just... pick up her own controller?
I only use this one controller. I only use a red controller. Okay, I bought that one and left it here.
She's so goth.
But then what's weird is that like then at the point of this little skit, like a big fat pizza guy shows up and then they give him a controller and it's like, oh, I thought this was only a 3-player game, but apparently you could just double up characters and have 4 people as well. And then they all laugh and play and pretend to play and they have a great time.
Yeah, your tip is that you got to play a video game with us.
Yep.
Delivery man.
Oh yeah, that guy totally got fired.
Right? Yeah.
You don't just get to stay.
I have like 4 different orders I got to deliver, but this game sure does look fun.
Yep. I guess he could be like an Uber Eats driver who just like
he makes his own hours kind of thing. That cat is...
there's like 2 cats in here.
Hell yeah, man. You got 3 roommates. There's going to end up being...
And then they're all eating this really fake prop-ass pizza that looks gross.
I always wanted to live in the sitcom-y world where you order a pizza and just make friends with your pizza guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That always happens in these fucking shows.
Except the fact that, like, you know, these are like, all of the first characters are like young urban professionals, and then this pizza guy is like
he is
a
definitely
60-year-old
like
fat uncle. Like,
it's like a
hobo.
I like that you think the goth girl's some professional.
Yeah,
like, she came back from her, like, her long, hard shift of telemarket. Like, what is she?
Yeah.
I don't know. Not that she couldn't have a regular job, but I mean, she came in looking very goth, and most goth people, when they work like professional jobs, soften the goth a little.
I don't know, man. I'm from I grew up in the 90s, so I watched a lot of NCIS, and I'm of the impression that when you're
nobody looks
skill
like
level
Abby fucking
is
Soto.
high enough, they just let you come to work with fucking eyeliner on, and nobody cares. I don't know.
It's not just eyeliner that. She had like a whole fucking thing.
Like ripped up tights with big holes in them.
Yeah, and then like the fucking
so she was some electrical tape
top.
somewhere
there. Dude, she straight up looking like the Crow coming into work like, hey, everybody.
I'd hire Eric Draven at my tech startup.
I would too, but for different reasons.
Let's see. From there, speaking of Pikmin, this is a really weird, it's called Space for Sale, and it seems kind of Pikmin-esque where it, correct me if I'm wrong, but this all reads as like tiny guys, right? Little tiny guys, like in a yard, like running around, like building little bases. It obviously has some kind of like multiplayer component, like less directed than Pikmin and more like open ended. So,
oh yeah, definitely. But even like the enemies and
like they just decided we're just gonna make our own Pikmin for people who don't have a Nintendo Switch
with blackjack and hookers,
and then like these are the bad guys that look like cartoon enemies from SpongeBob SquarePants.
They do. Oh my god! It's the tentacles from that game.
Day of the Tentacle?
Yeah, that'd be the one. The tentacle game. You know the one.
Yeah. We just got done. I just got done saying like survival games can sometimes suck you in. I don't know. This one
looks like it would get me for sure.
This one does. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know.
You know me. I gotta have like some cuteness to it. Like it doesn't have to be 100% like squishy, doughy, fucking Kirby.
Yeah.
But I need some whimsy in my life. So if you want me to play a game, it has to be fucking whimsical.
Right on. Let's see. From there, we got this is Africa. Okay, so this trailer is just like showing all these like African animals like on the savannah, like running around. This is a DLC for a hunting game.
Oh well, gross.
Eventually, it shows a lion, and
they're then like, isn't it beautiful? Look at the wilderness of Africa.
Yeah.
Now shoot it.
And then it pulls out, and like there's like a guy with like a bow and arrow and a gun, and it's like, all right.
Whatever. I mean, it's fine, but
I'd rather you shoot fake lions than real lions, but you know, I don't really do hunting. I'm more of I like to hunt demons in Doom.
Yeah, right. If you let me just pet every animal, I would.
That's what you're really in there for.
Yeah, I would. Literally.
Animal petting simulator.
Yeah, can you imagine? They're like, "Oh, dude, we just got the aquatic expansion. You can go down into the ocean and pet a whale." I'd be like, "Fuck yes!"
Let's see. From there, I have to find the name of this. I cannot, for the life of me, ever remember. Tempest Rising. So this game, I keep forgetting the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
Is it because it's forgettable?
It's actually not forgettable. It's just command and conquer.
Oh.
Like when you watch it, it's like all the dialogue is silly, and like it's obviously they've got these guys that are like the GDI guys, and then they've got these other guys that are obviously like the Nod guys from original Command and Conquer. And when you look at it, like when you see the gameplay footage, it very much just looks like old ass Command and Conquer, like the first Command and Conquer, which is kind of an interesting thing because I feel like EA bought Westwood, they got the rights to Command and Conquer, and then they just haven't made a Command and Conquer game for a long time, even though everybody's like, I like that game, I'd play another one of those.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yes, but would it make $1 billion?
This showcase kind of starting to feel a little like nostalgic, like all of their game.
There's a lot of throwbacks.
Or like throwbacky.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
No, I get that. I think...
the only thing that's like their benefit is that they it's like throwbacks but to different things, you know what I mean? It's not like trying to do the same kind of game,
right? It's perhaps an interesting take on something as opposed to just like here's a remake of the first Medal of Honor. Right? It's like here's a remake of Outcast.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
here's a Command and Conquer game, and it's like, well, all right.
It's just like, and it's all far-reaching enough that it doesn't feel like they've done, because sometimes you'll end up with like, this is a Call of Duty kind of game, and this is also a Call of Duty kind of game,
right.
and this is just like a wide array of different weirdness.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of strange BS going on.
I do like the BS.
Let's see. Are we going to Gothic? Yeah, this is Gothic.
God, you see that one goth chick, and then you got to stick with Gothic, huh?
This is a remake of an old game called Gothic. That's like one of those games that has a lot of it has a really rabid fan base, but small. Remember it fondly.
Small but vocal fan base.
Yeah, it seems like some kind of really grim, gritty, dirty medieval thing.
I kind of remember the name Gothic being thrown around for a while.
Yeah. I could say that watching this was like did no favors to me for God. It was like the world looks uninspired, the characters look uninspired, like it just looks like a really like what's interesting about all of this is like a guy steals gold and then he like goes over, there's like an arena that he goes to and he wants to use the gold to place a bet on a guy fighting like a weird fire breathing animal.
Yeah.
And then like the guy whose gold he took catches him and throws him into the arena, and it's like was there anything interesting about what I just watched?
Yeah, this is little
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Gothic, but like
that could have also just been a bad trailer.
Yeah. Apparently it was a throwback to a very specific level in the original game. Okay, so the original was kind of a third-person 3D, probably some kind of RPG.
Yeah.
God, this is a 15-hour YouTube video. Must have taken forever to upload. Holy shit.
Some say he's still uploading today.
So yeah, I can honestly say that that's the problem with some of this stuff is that if you throw back to something and there's nobody there to explain why it's good.
Yeah, then you're just left with like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's not for me and I don't understand.
Nickelodeon.
Yep. Last but not least.
Oh, right. Yeah. I did know. This is the only thing I knew about it. Because,
is a teaser for a game based on The Last Ronin, which is a TMNT.
That run is still going on right now.
I looked it up, and it seems like it's just Teenage Mutant Ninja Old Man Logan, basically.
Yeah, so it's Michelangelo's the last Ninja Turtle that's around still. Like all the other ones either died in battle or died of old age, because Michelangelo was always collectively considered the like youngest. Okay. And so I think everyone just kind of wanted to see what happens if he grew up.
Yeah. And now he's tortured and dark.
Kind of, yeah. But I mean, in the comics, there's more that happens to it. I know, like they introduced new turtles in it. I don't think they're going to be in this, but
his headband is black. it's
in fairness to him, the comic was originally black and white, so they all had just black bandanas. But yeah, it's been a wildly successful comic run for them, and it's still currently going on. I haven't read it yet, but I know the details of it, and it is very much just Old Man Logan for Ninja Turtles. But in fairness, Ninja Turtles have always been that. Like they've always pulled from other comics. Sure. Like the ooze is the ooze that hit Daredevil in the eyes. Oh, did you know that?
No.
That's what their whole thing. So like the ooze hit Daredevil in the eyes and then went down the drain, and that's what made them Ninja Turtles. And then this is all like their own headcanon. It's supposed to be a parody. It was always a parody of like comic books. Okay. But like the martial artist that trained Daredevil was named Stick,
right? And then they have Splinter, right?
And then they had the hand and
the foot, right? Okay.
Yeah. So like it was always a parody. So then the even when they take a serious note and they're like, the dark gritty Michelangelo is the last Ronin, right? It's just Old Man Logan, right? It still follows suit in how they always wrote.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like. I'm not talking a lot of shit. I've never read it before, but it's funny because I feel like you start by watching the Saturday morning cartoon Ninja Turtles or like the other stuff, and then eventually when you get older, then you go back and you read the original black and white comics that are like dark and violent and stuff. Yeah. And this just seems like the latest iteration of the dark and violent comic for kids to read once they turn 17 who grew up on the original. Yeah.
So for sure. I think Eastman had some input in it. Like I think this was an idea that they had been rolling around, like the original creator Eastman and Laird. But I think Eastman is the only one that still touches turtle stuff.
Yes,
and I think he had some say in what was going on with the Logan thing. His name was mentioned in the beginning of this, but that might have just been because he created the Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very possible. Yeah, it's. I mean, hey, Ninja Turtles are that is a good franchise to make video games out of. It's action packed. It's well beloved.
That's what we saw in theaters. I lied. We watched the Ninja Turtles.
The Ninja Turtles movie.
The Mutant Mayhem. It was a very delightful movie.
That's what I hear.
It's super fun. I don't know. Like I heard comparisons to the Spider-Verse thing.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't compare it that way, but like if you like the Ninja Turtles or anything kind of actiony and like more geared towards kids, I think it's super fun. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a great time. Also a fucking banger soundtrack.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that was it. That was the showcase.
Yeah, I remember everyone being like, the last Ronin thing really fucking blew I didn't even know this was from a showcase. I thought they just were like, hey, guess what? Do you know what I mean? Because nobody talked about any other game.
Yep. Nobody talked about Snow Day, South Park Snow Day.
Nobody gave a shit. So
that weird train game whose name I've already forgotten.
Last Train to Busan.
Yes, there you go. That was it.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride. Yeah, I think for me, Titan Quest 2 was probably the biggest thing for me because I have a lot of fond memories of the first one. I played it when it originally came out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was fine.
I mean, genuinely, I'll probably check out Space for Sale if it ends up coming out in a thing that I'll play it on.
Yeah, that does seem like a game that might come out that's could be head for the Switch.
Yeah, if it's on the Switch, I'll probably definitely play it. But otherwise, I'm not gonna bust out the Xbox for that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was our warm up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was a warm-up?
Oh, this isn't even all the tabs. This is only half of the tabs.
Too many tabs, dude.
It's a lot of tabs, but don't worry. We're going to get through them pretty quick.
Okay.
So, all right. In other news this week, Baldur's Gate 3 exists.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to fuck that bear.
Yeah, so one of the things that Baldur's Gate 3 did that I think is really fun, I really like it when companies do this, is their first weekend, they put out like a bunch of infographics about like what people did.
Oh, yeah, that's one.
When games
How
do
many
this.
people fuck that bear?
I don't think they put out things for that. They did say
they were like, we thought the bear fucking graphic was inappropriate.
they talked about the race choices.
Ooh.
So when people are making their own characters, half elf and human and elf were like top of the pops. Bottom was Githyanki, which is good because I am now racist against Githyanki.
Why?
After 60 hours
What
of
the hell's
RPGs.
a Githyanki?
They suck assholes is what they are.
Do dwarves suck? Because I was just looking at how on the lower end dwarves are
not as much
4.
as halflings, apparently.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not a fan of halflings, and I don't know what gnomes look like within Boulder Gate, but like I love dwarves. I can't believe people aren't.
Lae'zel, one of the main characters, is a Githyanki. This is what a Githyanki is.
Oh,
they're like
they look like little bat people.
They were enslaved by the Mind Flayers, and then like their race was enslaved by the Mind Flayers, and they broke free, and now they're just like Klingons, but all they want to do is kill Mind Flayers, and they're boring as shit.
That's fair.
Like I keep talking to them, and they're just like, all I want to do is kill Mind Flayers, and there's a part of the game where I'm like, if they're like, no, we should do this because it'll be good for the Githyanki, and I'm like, did you listen to the guy? He said that the entire world would be destroyed if we did it. Right, but the Githyanki will be better. And I'm just like, Lae'zel, get into the camp and bring back the giant demon lady that wants to make out with me, okay? Yeah. Like, fuck off. So, yes, I'm glad that nobody wants to play Githyanki because they suck assholes. And you can tell me in the comments why I'm wrong. And you'll be wrong when you do that.
Okay, first of all, hang on. Human is tied for first or second place?
It's close to. Half Elf was the best.
We have boring ass motherfuckers playing as humans. Are you a human?
I did. Yeah.
Boring.
Yep.
I mean, I'd be more mad at like, God. You can just see that they wanted the prettiest thing. Half elf, human, and elf are the top 3.
Right, and then Dragonborn and Tiefling and Drows. Those are also very pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, Dragonborns are pretty in a different way, but like Tieflings and Drows are just like good-looking people with different colored skin. So
that's boring.
I like playing a human in D&D because especially in Forgotten Realms, everybody's so wackadoodle different that you'll have somebody come out and be like, I'm a demon from the 12th dimension and I can rip the entire world inside out with the power of my mind. And I'm just like, I got a guitar and it turns out that I can kill you.
Yeah.
Like I can just kill you with my guitar. Yeah. Like I'm just a guy with a guitar that can kill you.
You're just like Tenacious D in D?
Pretty much. It seems like this is the one I do not fucking get.
Oh,
the people
the
that make
class
classes,
choices?
Paladin, far and away the number one.
Why?
You fuckers,
what's the gameplay for Paladin?
They're cops. They're the like religious knights that follow like they're now. Okay.
APAB, all paladins are.
I kept getting paladin alerts last night on my fucking phone. No, I think that people use them because they're fighters that can also do some healing, some like healing spells and some. I
mean, in video game gameplay that makes sense, but you know that if this was like actual D&D gameplay, the rogues would be way higher.
So the thing is, I think that the other reason people play paladins
Bards
was because
dead center.
Was because they fit a slot. There are no pre-made paladins for you to get.
Yeah.
There's literally a druid and some clerics and some rogues and like some barbarians and fighters and like whole 9 yards, wizards and warlocks and all that shit. Paladin is what. Actually, there's also not a sorcerer, so I can see like these two.
Yeah,
paladin,
that's what
sorcerer.
they're both as top two because of that. Is a paladin also within the realm of this game a little easy mode, like a little, do you know what I mean? Like they give you, it's a little more well-rounded, so if you're not somebody that really wants to work on being like a warlock, tends to be much more, you have to know your spells, you have to be good at, right? Or like good at magic.
Not really. Warlocks can cast any of their spells, but they can only do it twice. But I just mean, like, I don't know if a paladin is more like, well, if you don't have any spells, you can stabby stab, and if you don't have stabby stab, you can do whatever. I don't know classes very well in D&D, so like, clearly I'm just talking out my ass, but I just mean like, is it an easier class to play as for somebody that's like a beginner? I think so. I think they've got really high survivability. I think they can wear like heavy armor, but then they can also cast a few different like bless and heal and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you're still getting like the fun of being like, I'm doing something kind of magical, but then you're also just getting what would a standard.
This is bullshit. You should not be playing paladins.
What are you playing as?
Bard, because. No, dude, bards rule. Like, bards can talk to animals. Bards, I needed to, like...
Why can bards talk to animals?
Bards have a whole bunch of spells. They have, like, a huge spell book, and they're half a rogue. If you spec them, you use one of your...
it's just a rogue with a harmonica.
You use one of your feats to get medium armor proficiency, so you can wear medium armor. You can use martial weapons. You got a fucking guitar. You can lockpick. You can stealth. You got a huge charisma, so you can, like, get all those seeds. You can, like, persuade people to do different stuff. You can talk to animals. You can talk to corpses. You can talk to fucking everybody.
Yeah.
You can play.
You're so charismatic. You can talk to a corpse.
Yep, pretty much.
Riz up a corpse, baby. Does cleric suck? That's a huge drop compared to everything else.
This is what I don't understand. Like, everybody in the history of all of D&D is like, cleric. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, if I didn't know there was already a cleric in the game, I would have been playing cleric, because clerics... Their two main skills are wisdom and charisma. They use charisma for turning in some of their spell buffs, but they also get martial proficiency in like armor and swords and shields. They come pre-done with like health spells. They rock ass against the undead. They will literally keep your entire party alive. They're the only class in the game that is spec for like giving your characters back health.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
This is just... In the D&D movie, that one guy that was essentially an NPC character, wasn't he a cleric?
I think he was a paladin.
Was he a paladin?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't remember. But anyway, I do not understand why clerics are at the bottom of the list. Like, dude, I mean, but half the number for druid? Come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Druid? Really? Ranger is that much higher? Rangers? For the love of God, do you guys not know what clerics can do? What cleric can summon fucking elementals and shit? Like, I soloed Neverwinter Nights with a cleric, god damn it.
Aren't your original characters created?
Well, okay, so...
origin characters created.
When you play the game, you can make your own character, or you can pick one of the pre-made characters. They show up in the world as people that can be your friends or romance options or whatever, or you can just play as one of them if you want, if you don't want to make a choice. And that can sometimes be good because they have their own backstory and it's more detailed than just like... That
sounds like a second playthrough sort of deal.
Right. And then it turns out the number of people who wanted to do that, Gale by far was top of the list. I hate Gale. He's the only guy in the entire game that's not in my party because he wants to eat your magic items. And I like 3 hours into the game, he was like, I'm jonesing for a hit. Give me a magic item. I got to eat it. And I was like, here's a +1 sword. He's like, that's not good enough. Give me your really useful boots of going places. And I was like,
get out of my party.
No. And he was like, well, then fuck you. And he ran away. And I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Well, you went out, fuck you too. All right.
Did we lose a drug addict? Oh, sad. So sad.
So it turns out that most people playing good, 65% Save the Grove, 34% Assault of the Grove. This is a really evil choice. It's a grove full of innocent tieflings and druids, and you can side with the goblins and monsters to go fucking like run all the children down and like put them to the sword. But a third of you guys are fucking crazy.
Should be on a list.
Scratch is the awesome dog that comes to your camp, and he's been petted 750,000 times.
You're damn right he has. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up.
This is players spoke to 1.4 million corpses and 2.4 million animals.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. We want to talk to like double the amount of animals. Less dead people, more animals.
Fewer dead people to talk to, but
yeah.
And apparently in the first weekend they played for 1,225 years of game time all put together. 368 players managed to finish the game in the first weekend. I am 60 hours into that game and I am on the beginning of the final act. So
wow.
93% of people rolled a custom character. Players spent 88 years in the character creator screen.
I was just going to ask how long that character creator screen takes.
100,000 players have been rejected by Asterion, who is the Twinkie vampire elf rogue who
Does
everybody
he
likes.
Everybody?
I don't know. People keep talking about they had a hard time. I'm like, that dude was all up in my business, and I was like, nah, bro, I only got eyes for that demon chick over there.
I kept rejecting him, and he's like, that is exactly what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
If you keep being mean to me, I'm just going to fall in love with you.
Yep. So, yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah,
however, all is not 100% well, because Baldur's Gate has put out their, or Larian has put out their kind of roadmap, and their first patch is coming very soon. It is set to target 1,000 fixes.
Wow.
And then in the future, they will be they're going to start adding player request features in. Like one of the things that they did do, I don't know why devs have such a hard time with this. There's nowhere to change your hairstyle or color. Like, there's one thing to like respec what your character looks like.
Yeah.
You can't even change the hairstyle. There's like fucking 12,000 hairstyles, and it's like you can't even do that. Once you start the game, the color and the style are both locked into place. There's even a barber in the third act, and it like just doesn't do anything.
We should have put him in, but I guess not.
And that's definitely somebody on Twitter very specifically requested that. So I'm really excited to see what happens, what they put in. Because they're basically like, Larian is a very, like, the guy that runs Larian, he's just like, I fucking love making video games and I think they're so cool. And so when the audience is like, we want this, and they're just like, can we do that? Yeah, we can do that. Put that in there.
Nice.
So
that's what you want to fucking hear.
Yep.
So tired of like, oh, you guys are so ungrateful. It's like, no. We're saying we love the game and we want more of it. And here's what we would like. Not fuck you, you know.
The one thing I think they really need right now is inventory management tools, because you can either have a giant screen, you can either have the equivalent of like, you go to somebody's house and you open up their laptop and their desktop is just all icons.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even snapped to grid. They're just like fucking willy-nilly everywhere, and it makes you want to die.
If this were a human, I'd shoot it.
Right. Or it's either your inventory either looks like that, or you could be like me, where every 3 hours I stop playing the game and do this inventory management dance where I'm like, okay, this is my potion backpack. I need to consolidate the potions. Okay, then I need to get this over here. We need to go sell off all of this junk loot that I've been getting. Or they need to just fix the fucking chest of the mundane. Pro tip, in the first act, there's a place in the Underdark that you can go, and there's a treasure chest called the chest of the mundane. And if you take when you open it, it's full of cups and forks and knives and garbage. And then when you take all those cups and forks and knives off, they turn into like swords and armor and stuff. And if you put anything in the chest, it turns from a sword or an armor or a potion into cups and forks and knives. And cups and forks and knives weigh 0.1, and everything else weighs more than 0.1. So at the end of Act 2, my girl Karlak was carrying a chest of the mundane that had 275 loots in it.
Yeah.
And then there's a bug where when you go from Act 2 to Act 3, that chest stops working. And so if you've got stuff in there and then you take it out, it's just cups and knives.
My God.
So I literally had to reload and like take it all out. And now I've got like 270 things. And the problem is I can't get all this loot to a shop because I can only bring as much as encumbers my strongest character, like one shuttle run at a time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Holy shit.
But way more important than that, Amanda.
Yes.
I feel for you guys because it turns out that if you make a short king in this game, the kissing option animation does not work. So there's a character.
But I want to make a dwarf.
There's a character named Karlach. She is gigantic. She is awesome. She is the best character in the entire game, and I don't know why more people are not using her. And if you're playing a halfling and you attempt to smooch on her,
you just kiss her belly button.
Nothing really happens. You move in, and then she just kind of like kisses the air.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys, I don't know how you didn't realize that this was going to be a thing, because this character is a fucking thirst trap. Like, this is internet bait. That's bait right there. Yeah. And you missed the opportunity to put in an animation where she literally picks
you up and kisses
gnomes and dwarves and shorter characters.
I hope that they fix that and that she does that and not just her bent over.
Yep. Yes.
She pulls out a stool from nowhere so he can step on it.
That'd be great too.
Yeah,
that'd be great too.
Anything like that.
Anything like that.
I'm in. I want to make a dwarf. I'm in. Now I want Baldur's Gate.
Here's some more bad news. You got to watch out a little bit. Baldur's Gate is a game where you make a gajillion choices, a literal gajillion choices. One of the first patches they had to do was the game was starting to crash because save game files were hitting the upper limit of like how big a game file could be because of the number of things that had to be tracked in that file, because every cup that you pick up and put into the mundane chest has to be like written down that there's a cup in that chest.
Yeah.
So they unlocked that, but now you got to be careful because there's like people online that are like, yeah, I just checked my save drive folder and the saves for this game are 3 gigs of space.
Wow.
Just for the save files. So if you're running this all on your primary drive, you might watch out. Also, if you're running it through GeForce Now, you might watch out. That's a cloud service that streams the stuff, right? NVIDIA has put out a thing saying you need to limit yourself to 10 saves, because if you're just constantly riding the save button like old Jeff is, you will keep generating these gigantic save files. And because this is all happening in the cloud, it can then end up crashing the entire client. So
Baldur's Gate's going to fucking ruin everybody.
Yep. Well, that's actually true, and we can probably finish up with this. Sorry, we gotta we got some time for this. Okay. So last week there was there's been a bit of a controversy about Baldur's Gate 3. Last week, an indie game developer, the guy that made Hypnospace Outlaw and this game called Space Warlord Organ Trader Simulator, which is a very weird game.
Sounds like a weird game.
Had a Twitter thread where he basically said, hey, I want to make sure that everybody knows that you should not be looking at this game and making it the new regular for like games across the board. This is the end result of a company that has been making this style of game for years, very specifically like their game founder has been making RPGs for a long time, is also a huge fan of this stuff. They also got like the rights for a very popular franchise. They basically got a practice run with Divinity Original Sin 2 before this game even came out.
Yeah.
They had a lot of advantages going into this, but trying to make a game like this is literally impossible for smaller teams and could actually destroy larger teams. I'm like 50% with this because like I don't expect the guy that made Hypnospace Outlaw to make Baldur's Gate 4, right? But I expect Blizzard to be able to make a satisfying video game that doesn't feel like work to play.
Right.
And I don't care whether trying to make Diablo 4 a fun game bankrupts their studio. At this point, I don't really care because a lot of these larger game studios have a very dismissive attitude towards their players. So, like, I don't really care whether you guys overexert yourself and fuck up your whole studio and go out of business. Like, because you don't care that I don't want to spend $1 gajillion and all my time playing Marvel's The Avengers. Like, you are disrespectful of my time and my money and my investment. So I do not care whether your large studio goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has turned into a weird back and forth because there are a lot of people on the internet I mean, you know, the internet, right?
Yeah. Fun loving place, the internet.
Who are just like, no, this is a standard for every video game moving forward. If a game isn't this, it's trash.
Yeah.
And then also on the other hand, there's like, well, of course we should not, we shouldn't put any of our unrealistic expectations on these poor developers out there that are just trying to make a living under the capitalist patriarchy. And it's like, guys, there's an opinion in the middle of this that is like, I don't expect 12-man teams to make this game, but I do expect Ubisoft that employs like fucking 15,000 people worldwide to be able to make the same quality of game that a studio of 450 people made.
Yeah.
And when they churn out trash, that's because they were trying to cash in.
Yeah.
And
it is not a peak for which I want indie developers to reach. It is a bar that I want large developers to exceed.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
So there was actually an interview with Sven Vinke, the guy that the head developer, the studio head on Baldur's Gate 3, where he did a really good thing where he talked about he had a really good quote where he said, the problem that I have is with the use of the word standards. This is video games. Standards just die every day. Things get reinvented. New things appear all the time. When I was starting out in the industry, Assassin's Creed set the new standard. It was over. Nobody could make games like Assassin's Creed. There was too much budget behind it. That was going to be the future. Everybody had to consolidate, blah, blah, blah. That didn't materialize. In video games, there's so much free space to explore still in the creative tree. And he says that he finds it very strange that a lot of developers in large studios are pushing back against the idea that like making a high quality video game that everybody's super excited for is like possible, or that you should even go out on a limb to do it. Additionally, he says, quote, Disco Elysium changed standards on the fly with a small team, right? That's a completely different standard now. There's so many games that change standards to the point that there's no standards, which was my thing. But I think you should always strive to evolve, especially in this medium, which is different than other media in the sense that technological evolution has always been a big part of it. There's always been innovation, but at the same time, it doesn't require massive technological evolution to do something crazy and cool and different than what anybody else has done before. And how could you disagree with such a thing? So on the other hand, the same Xavier Nelson, who did the original thing, you know, he kind of came out and talked about it. I do think, though, that there is a little bit of like, I don't know how to describe this. There's a thing a lot of times I feel like that happens when something comes out. Take your pick, movie, video game, fucking Planet of the Base, whatever you feel like.
Fucking
where
Planet of the Base.
Something comes out and a lot of people are like, woo! And then somebody takes that opportunity to basically make to steal a little bit of that spotlight by being like, hey everybody, I know you're really liking this, but shouldn't we also be talking about the implications of what this has to the rest of society? And it's just like, no.
Yeah. I know you guys are all happy and enjoying it, but let me take that away from you real quick.
Like the other thing that I was thinking about when it comes to this guy's take is that, like, was anybody out there like, well, it's just this from now on. Every game has to be 80 hours long and like has to have infinite choices, right?
Yeah, that's my issue with the like standard being discussed, is that like he even in the original quote was like, and the Assassin's Creed was the standard for a second, but then it wasn't, and then blah, 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 like he keeps moving on, and it's like, right, but like there were consistently like, this is the new standard conversations, and we still somehow managed to get other games. So like, is it really a concern, or did you just want to make sure that people knew that other companies weren't going to be able to do that?
Yes. And I think that in a lot of ways, like you can also make you can also kind of put some weight on both sides of the discussion, where you say there's one side of the discussion which is unrealistic expectations of gamers. I don't know that you need to have a conversation about that. Gamers have had unrealistic expectations for years. Will continue to have unrealistic expectations for years. The people that are just like, I went to Chili's and I got those baby back ribs and they were only okay. And it's like, well, yeah, man, you were at a Chili's. Like, I deserve...
That's on you. I can't be held responsible.
I saw those commercials, and they said they were the greatest ribs. They were world famous. I don't think those should be called world famous. On the other hand, there's a lot of growing dissatisfaction, I feel like, with a lot of people. Games are expensive, and a lot of them are way heavily monetized, and what we're getting feels more and more gross, where you have to just put up with the sweaty hand of some executive shoving their meaty paw in your back pocket to try to get at your wallet, to try to get at the fun that you just want to have to forget how fucking hot it is outside.
You know what this is a little bit to me is the like a woman or like a couple being public about having like a great relationship, and then people in the comments being like, ladies, don't start just expecting this from every guy. Don't do it. That we're like, you're gonna set your standards too high, you're gonna be alone forever. And it's like, or I'll just, or
you can have some standards.
Like
that's the thing is that and to be honest, I don't want to crap on this Xavier Nelson guy, because he has had he did this for a reason, and he has had a lot of follow-up where he's been very calm. He has not gotten like flustered with his audience and been like, I was not saying that you shouldn't have any expectations.
My concern is more when you put something like that out there, that sometimes it fuels the wrong group, and you don't realize that's what you're doing. And but like, I don't know, we're not the binary type, so we're not very like it has to be the greatest thing in the world or it's trash. It's like, I'm fine with somebody aiming for that standard and missing but still getting pretty good, or somebody saying fuck that standard and doing something totally different and doing something fun and creative, and like it doesn't have to be that, but just because something is great doesn't mean that we shouldn't then look at it as a goalpost, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that
and not be like, no, don't pay attention to it. That's don't look at it like that. And it's like, well, why not?
I think at the end of the day, I think I said this last week, but I just want to reiterate it. I mean, in case if you're listening to RageSelect, you've heard me repeat myself over and over again.
We never repeat ourselves here at RageSelect. You have to listen to every video to get a new story.
There's a thing that happens in the video game industry over and over and over and over again, where corporate will try to tell us, it's not just a video game industry, it happens everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Corporate will try to tell us, you don't want just a single player video game with high production values. No, sir. You need an ongoing season pass so that you can constantly be playing Destiny 2 every day of your life. You need more content every day to play with your friends. Don't you want to post your score online? Don't you want to show people? And then when a lot of us will be like, no, and then it doesn't matter, because that's just like it keeps shoving that out there. And then suddenly somebody that just has a passion for video games. Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't do anything that I haven't seen other video games do. It may be packing a lot of different things together in a package that I haven't seen before. But Divinity Original Sin 2 was like 75% of the way to where this is. Like, they have Mass Effect style cutscenes, but just done way better because they've learned a lot of the lessons from that franchise. And so what I a lot of times bristle at is this idea that these industries keep trying to be like, you peons don't know what you want. We will tell you what you want, and what you want is to give us all your money for a mediocre Chili's hamburger. And then we go, no. And then it was like, la, la, la. What do you know? You're just a peon. And then somebody comes along and offers you something better, and you're just like, oh my God, what a breath of fresh air. And so I get why that those are the emotions, and that this guy is talking to like the intellectual ideas about how the game industry is run. But sometimes you want to just be like, no, I want to put my full weight behind this because I want more of this and less Overwatch 2s.
For real,
So, and with that, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Because we've been at it for a little while, and we still have 1 billion newses left to go.
So many tabs, man.
Oh, it's not even all of them. It's not even all of them.
One of those tabs playing music right now.
Yep, that's right. Just
nonstop.
Which one is making the noise? Just all right, we'll be right back. Yeah, back on that bullshit.
We never got off that bullshit, baby.
We never got off that bullshit. Yep, we're back, and we still have a gabillion news stories left to go.
Okay.
So
are we
we're going to go
lightning round for an hour and a half?
Not quite. A little bit.
Doing the podcast drive-by.
Yep. Okay. First up, we got the news this week that apparently the new Forza game that's coming out is going to be missing a whole bunch of features when it launches.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. This was made to tie directly back into the developers complaining about not being able to do stuff. Yeah. So apparently the big thing is that no split screen in the new Forza game, which is like a really big oversight. This is something that they're going to try to patch back in later.
Yeah.
Also, no spectator mode online, and no additional AIs when racing in featured multiplayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real desolate game then, huh?
These are really bad signs. It means that this game is being fucking shoved out the door.
Yeah, which means there's probably a lot of crunchy going on.
Which also generally means that Forza, I think as a franchise has enough legs underneath it that kind of like
a spider.
Gran Turismo had the same problem where it got shoved out and it was 80% complete, and then they just kept adding and working on it and doing post-game support.
I always feel like racing game fans are kind of the type to wait around for that sort of thing, though.
Yeah.
They'll buy it now and they're more than happy to just get it later.
Yeah. I keep talking to Bryce and he's just like, I was playing Gran Turismo. I'm like, still?
Yeah.
But
Bro, you just want to vroom sometimes, I don't, but some people do.
Yeah. I just keep jumping between stuff.
It's fine. I commute, so I'll just be in my car.
I'll just split screen there.
Yeah, I just
put a mirror down the middle of my thing.
Anyway, okay. I got the ticket yesterday because I was on the split screen. Yep. And,
Xbox, another Microsoft news, Xbox has a new weird strike system for when you're being a jerk ass on Xbox Live. Mm-hmm. Basically, it's kind of strange where you get a certain number of strikes for a certain number of certain options. So I'm trying to think. There's if you're a jerk, you get one strike, and if you're cheating, you get 2 strikes, and if you're racist, you get 3 strikes. And then what happens is that those strikes are individually moderated. There's no auto striking, right? Everyone has to be directly checked out by a person.
Yeah.
And then what happens is if you get the strikes on your fucking license, then they go away in 6 months. But the more you get, the longer your suspension is. So you start with 1 strike gets you 1 through 3, I think, gets you 24 hours, and then at 3 you get 3 days, and at 5 you get a week, and then at 6 I think you get a month, and then at 8 you get a year.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're up to 8. Maybe fucking chill.
Yeah, I'm very torn about this because on the one hand, I can really see a use case where people abuse it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm kind of sick of
people being pieces of shit.
People online. Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. And I'm kind of the opinion that it's I think it's kind of okay to take draconian measures to be nah, if you just keep yelling racist shit into your microphone, 3 days later, you're banned for a year.
Yeah.
And you just can't fucking use your console for a year.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry, but this is the exact same standards of going into a store over and over again, and if you have so many, sir, we've had to tell you not to come in, you're banned, you can't come into the store.
Yep.
This is because people, I'm sure they feel like it's crazy.
Yes.
But this is only got this bad because of people's ability to get away with it.
Yep.
And they don't get away with it for the most part, fucking the world we live in, but they don't get away with it in person.
Yes.
So this is really just the same thing that would have happened to them if they were this stupid in person.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm not super mad at it. Do I think it can be abused because people report nothing?
Right. I mean,
sure, but if it's getting looked at by a person, I feel like those will be filtered out relatively quickly.
Yes, I do though think it's interesting that there's a way that you can get a 365-day ban. Basically, is kind of an interesting use case. But yeah, I agree.
I'm just sick of it, man. You see girls streaming all the time. Like, I watch a lot of TikTok of like Twitch streamers, women that are on Twitch, and they'll game, but they'll be on voice chat, and like the second they find out it's a woman, they'll say racist shit. Like, it's just like the second somebody that they feel is unworthy to be playing a game, it's just every horrible thing they can think of all at once. Like, it doesn't have to be. That's
the other one. You get 1 point for profanity, and I'm like,
right, like you gotta have a really big definition, because I say fuck a lot.
Cheating, sexually inappropriate harassment.
Look, I already know I'm gonna get kicked for saying cunt, and that's not fair. It's my favorite word.
I kind of agree with most of this except for the profanity, but then again, I'm kind of on your side where it's like, we created the internet and we gave people infinite possibilities to do whatever they want. It turns out what they want to do is say the worst thing they can think of to another person.
Like, we gave you the keys to the kingdom, and you guys really fucking screwed the pooch on it. That's not my fault. That's your fault.
I just want to play single player games. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't want to talk to other people.
I mean, I care more about it because of my experiences playing Call of Duty back in the day.
Yep.
But I don't play Call of Duty anymore, and I don't do any online games where I have mic. God, I can't even imagine being on mic. Like, are you kidding me? With this sexy voice?
Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of Microsoft, let's move on to Activision Blizzard news. So Diablo 4. I've got a lot of shit to talk about Diablo 4. Diablo 4 has shut down their entire trading market because players have found ways to dupe stuff. Apparently, you cannot directly trade gear, because that was a whole problem with the Diablo 3 auction house debacle like a decade ago. But you can still trade like these gems or skulls or talismans, some bullshit. And apparently people figured out how to dupe that to the point where the entire economy for Diablo 4 has gone fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it was like you pay $4 to get like 10 million gold, and now like this week it's like $4 for a billion gold because the dupes have just wrecked their economy. I, for one, am under the impression that the game Diablo should not have to worry about what the online economy looks like, because
you played yourselves with that one.
Right. It's just a video game, and I know that people play Diablo online, and whatever, but the reason to shut this shit down, right, is because Blizzard's going to end up losing money when their economy gets all fucked up.
Yeah, and which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Also, how in the world do you...
I'm for it. Damn the man.
Yeah, exactly. How in the world do you not have the ability to just switch this stuff? Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. Diablo 4 also has a problem, which has not necessarily been fixed, but probably will be, where there is a dungeon that got changed in one of the updates, where apparently you can go from level 1 to level 40 in 2 hours.
Wow.
Because of the number of enemies that are in there. And as long as you don't, like, if you just leave and then come back so that everything regenerates, it's like you have to do the opening area. And if you go any further, it'll like change the dungeon state, right? But if you just keep doing this one area, you just rack up levels like nobody's business, something which will probably also be patched out at a certain point, because you don't want people to like level up really fast and have a bunch of fun with your video game, right?
I feel like,
right?
This shit, I don't know. To me, this one, it has the like, if it works mentality.
Yeah.
Like, Zelda has that, like, if you make a big bridge to get you to where you need to be, fucking do it, I guess.
Yep.
Like, I feel like, look, if we made a level that if you just keep doing that same, like, you're going to have to sit there and fucking grind it, but that's on you. I don't see why I wouldn't fix it.
It doesn't. Yeah, there are plenty of...
Like, I don't know. That's your gameplay. If you're all of a sudden like, no, my character's OP, it's like, you did it to your fucking... I don't know what to tell you.
There's a very well worn technique that was discovered like 4 days after Elden Ring came out, where you can go get this weapon that does a certain type of damage, and then you go... There's this dragon that doesn't move, and if you get a bleed weapons do like a 20% damage when they build up, and so you go get this spiked mace, you go to this dragon, you walk up to its tail, you bang on it, and if you bang on it for like 15 minutes, like it'll die, and when it dies, it gives you enough levels that you can level up, like from level 1 to like level 35, I think, just like within the first hour of the game, right? Makes the whole entire first level trivial or whatever. Let that shit in there because, like,
that's on you. If that's how you want to play it, then that's how you're going to play it.
Hey, you want to leave something in for the people who are coming in with their second game who just like, or the people coming with their first game. They're just like, I want to be really overpowered at the beginning. I'm just going to go do this.
Sometimes games are more fun when you're like overpowered.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, if you don't think they're more fun that way, then you probably aren't the person that's going to be doing it in the first place.
Yep. And yeah, so I don't know. I am really salty about Diablo 4. So salty. So salty.
So much salt.
So much salt.
Like eating at Taco Bell.
Sodium warning. The fact that Taco Bell has items on their menu that when you click on them, it says sodium warning.
Holy
and it's like,
shit.
Why did you do that? Why did you even do that?
Wow.
Like,
maybe less salt? And they're like, no, more salt.
I had that taco.
What'd you think? It's a crunchy quesadilla with meat in it.
It was fine. It should just be like 99 cents per one.
I thought it was $2 and some change, and it's $3 and some change, and I'm like, no, it should not be.
It's $3 for garbage taco.
Yeah,
and then like here's some fucking. We took the Taco Bell sauce and put it in a little cup for you to dip in.
I like that red sauce. Like I want that red sauce and everything.
Okay, it was fine.
But like and then the nacho cheese, and I'm like, bitch.
But they give you the nacho cheese, and then they give you a bag of chips.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to do this?
Am I dipping in this or am I dipping in that?
Anyway,
yeah, no.
This is Amanda Jeff's Taco Bell lightning round. Speaking of games that I'm salty about that are made by Blizzard Entertainment, Overwatch 2 is in the news. They finally put Overwatch 2 on Steam. And unlike everywhere else on the internet, Steam gives those internet gremlins that we were talking about before that are going to be racking up all them points in their Xbox license the ability to give the game a score in the forms of a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
And how's that going?
Overwatch 2 is currently the worst rated game on all of Steam, to the point where people have gone to the second worst rated game on Steam and started giving it thumbs up
to make sure that
that it remains at the bottom of the list. It currently has 45,000 Steam reviews and an overwhelmingly negative review score. However, things are more complicated than they may seem. In looking into it, it turns out that 2/3 of those negative reviews of Overwatch 2 are from China. And the thing that people may or may not remember is that about 3 months ago, between 3 and 6 months ago, in order to do business in China, you have to have a Chinese business that is basically the front. Like you go to your Chinese business and you say, I want to sell Overwatch in China. And they say, okay, well, we will sign a deal with you and then we will sell it. We will give you back a chunk of the money. The company that handled all of Blizzard's things in China was NetEase, I believe. And they had a falling out to the point where everything in China got like turned off for Blizzard, like World of Warcraft. Can't play it online. Like none of the online for the Blizzard games work, and a lot of the Chinese negative reviews on Steam were like, I have to play this by like going to an American server, and so the lag is garbage, so the game is garbage, and I can't play the game that I want to play. And it's been like a few months where this hasn't been like emergency, we've got to get this back online. It seems like Blizzard might be playing chicken with NetEase, or they can't get another company or whatever. But you know, there's still 30% that were not from China.
Still the rest are, you know, not fans.
This does though actually bring up an interesting question about like, you know, I think that the Steam rating system can be abused a lot of the times. Yeah. But
we've had that discussion where they just like fully abuse it because of like one aspect.
I don't like that one thing. Yeah. Thumbs down.
Woke.
But I do think that Blizzard as a company really needs to like look at this stuff and be like, are we the baddies? You know, like they need to like, we might be making a shitload of money, but everybody fucking hates our guts.
Yeah.
Like,
I think sometimes they like, when it's big, when it's like everybody hates you, it's hard to believe it. or you know, where it's just like, well, they're all just trolling, or it's just like a trend to hate us kind of thing, and it's just like they don't listen to what's being said because of it. Do you know what I mean?
It's been a trend to hate Activision Blizzard for like 2 years, 3 years now.
You'd be surprised. Some people just would rather. I mean. Shh, everyone be quiet. Jeff's struggling.
Sorry, I was trying to open my tea.
I couldn't vamp. I was too distracted. I'm so thirsty.
So, additionally, we also got some other stuff from Overwatch. They just put out the new character, Illari, who is a support character, as is the way that Blizzard does stuff. It's a support character with a gigantic gun.
Yeah, is that
powered by the sun?
Is that not normal?
Well,
I'm supporting you with my bullets.
It is now. I mean, I feel like I've seen this a number of different times where like their primary shot damages enemies and their secondary shot then like heals people. Yeah. Like, and then they can throw down some kind of like stationary.
She's Peruvian.
Heal things. Yeah, the whole backstory has very like. Kind of like it's all about like sun worship and kind of this neo Aztec kind of thing. They talk about these protectors that all use the powers of the sun in order to protect the place, and then she's like trained, and then they went to go give her sun powers, and then everything exploded and she killed everybody, I guess. Because her power
level
like
an
was too
X-Men
high.
Origin story.
Yeah, I don't know. They did this little motion comic, and it's fine. It's like, but I don't understand what the hell happened.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be more. Give me more details. It's pretty though.
Yeah,
I mean, they never struggled with coming up with good characters. They just struggled with not being pieces of shit.
Yeah. No, that's really the tack that I was thinking about, was that like no matter what, Blizzard still has some hella talented artists and character designers there.
Yeah, for sure.
Even when you look at just like the kind of the way that this character has this like kind of gold and black with like this white and red accents on it. Very striking. Doesn't look like any other character, right? So even after all this time, they're still coming up with some interesting, cool looking characters with nifty looking ults and powers, and it's always very impressive to watch, even though I always have to laugh whenever they have a support character and then they show them like wiping the entire enemy team with their ult.
They can murder everybody. I feel like they shouldn't.
Yeah. So yeah, that's part of the new invasion storyline. So let's see from there. Modern Warfare 3 is out. I have a bit of a correction to make.
Oh, yeah?
Last week we talked about Modern Warfare 3 got teased last week and then like full on announced. There's like we have a gameplay trailer for it a little bit further down the line. Last week they talked about adding slide cancels back to the game.
Okay.
I last week talked about this and I thought it was the same as a thing they called G-walking. So there was a weird thing that happened in Modern Warfare 2 for like a weekend. Let me see if I can find a video of it.
Yeah.
Called G-walking. And what it was, the videos for it were very that's
a guy crip walking.
There was so what it was like going into a prone position and then like coming out of the prone, like using the prone position and then like using the getting up from the prone position to kind of break the movement in the game. Okay. And so what it looked like,
looks like you're galloping like a horse.
Yeah. And so what it looked like was that they could like jump way further and they could like run way faster. And so everybody was like down on all fours like a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah.
Just like fucking jumping through the map and knifing each other and stuff. So they patched that out. I thought that was the same as slide canceling. Slide canceling is like
is that like baseball sliding?
What it is, I don't even know because I don't play at this level. But apparently, slide canceling is a thing where you start to dash in Modern Warfare, and then when you're right about to run out of stamina, you cancel into a slide, which resets the dash counter, which then lets you get back up and go right back into a dash. That means you can cover a lot of distance.
Yeah.
It's a thing that was patched out, but apparently is going to be put back into Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
Because doing it is a relatively high skill level, but the thing is that it's such an overwhelming advantage if you can do it that they didn't want to make sure that, like, you know, if just some guy goes to play the game, you're not getting fucking trounced all the time by people who know how to do this.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
but
back in my day, you just fucking spawn camped, and now you guys are doing all this weird extra shit.
Yep. But this week they announced the re-addition to the game of a feature that had been taken out. I didn't even realize this had happened because Modern Warfare 2 was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I've never been big into the multiplayer. Did you know Modern Warfare 2, they took out the red dot on the map that shows up when somebody's shooting?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
But, okay.
They decided they were like, no, well, we don't want to punish people for shooting, and we want to make it so that people, when they're getting shot at, they have to, like, visually look instead of just, there's the map, there's the guy, I'm going to turn directly and, like, get a beat on them.
I mean, I guess, but it just helped.
You can imagine, would you say that the Modern Warfare community, A, loved it, B, liked it a little bit, or C, fucking hated it?
Fucking hated it.
Yeah, they did. So they're basically reversing it. There's like a whole thing going on with Modern Warfare that I wasn't aware of. I keep getting news stories around the peripherals where apparently Warzone and Modern Warfare 2 are just like kind of overwhelmingly disliked by the community because Activision apparently they were trying to kind of retune the game to get like more new people in.
It's not meant for new people anymore.
Right. And then that just made the people that, you know, been playing
that actually play it.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be like if the new Madden had like super simplified, was like NFL Blitz, right? And then you're just like, well, that's not what the people that buy this game want. So good news, Call of Duty heads. Duties. Good news, duty calls. I don't know what you guys call yourselves. Yeah, so that's back in.
Bros.
Good news, brah.
Good news, Chad and the other Chads.
Another thing that we found out this week about Modern Warfare 3 is that it will be there'll be versions for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Originally, when it was announced, they just had notations up for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. There was then I think there was a listing actually on the trailer. It said Xbox Series X/S, PS5, PS4, PC, and people were like, "Oh." So it is going to be on the PS4, one, and then two, just means it's not going to be on the Xbox One, and it's been added into the store pages that it's going to be on the Xbox One.
They're like, oops.
So, yeah. It's always interesting to watch this process to see, like, Call of Duty is like the last man out, like the last one out of the bar to lock the doors and turn off the lights, right? Because it's such a big fan base that you don't want to cut off anybody that's going to give you extra sales.
Yeah.
So,
but, like, there's a point.
Yep.
Where you just got to let it go.
Yep.
I was talking to a friend of mine. So many people I know don't have DVD players anymore.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Do you have an Xbox? Like, you have PlayStation?" I don't know if PlayStation still.
Yep.
But do you have like a new Xbox? And they're like, well, I had a 360. Like this guy got an Xbox One and a 360 from the same person. Like they were like, I don't want them. You can have them. Like he was moving or something.
Sure.
And he was just like, fuck it, I don't want them.
Yeah.
And he got both of them, and the Xbox One just wasn't working. And he was like, I'm gonna go back to the 360. Fuck it. And it red ringed on him, and I was like, oh man, the nostalgia of a red ring.
Holy shit! I don't even know if you can get that shit fixed anymore.
Yeah. Nope. It was dead.
Yeah. Let's see. In other Activision news, this is a story that we didn't get a chance to cover because I didn't entirely know what it was. So here's the thing. This requires a little bit of explanation.
Yeah.
And I brought this one in here and I was like, Amanda probably actually knows this.
Somebody who watches the TikToks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was a TikTok thing. So Anthony Fantano is like a music reviewer. He's been around the internet for a gajillion years.
Yeah, I know.
And he had a TikTok that was a person slicing pizza. I don't know if you've seen this TikTok.
Yeah, there's too many slices.
And he's like, okay.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. The article you're talking
about. He's like, okay, no, that's enough
60,
now.
yeah.
That's too many slices. That's too many slices. And apparently it gets Stitch. Is that the?
Yeah.
Am I cool with the hip with the lingo? Hello, fellow kids.
No, but also yes. Yeah, you're using that correctly. They Well, I mean, if they just use the audio.
Well, I feel like it's yes. I feel like the audio for him is used a lot of times when it's somebody.
So like a stitch would be like a side by side typically, or cutting into like they'll show the video and then they'll cut in and like I have something to say about that.
No,
kind of thing.
not that.
So
it's just they just use his audio.
If they just used they just used his sound. That's really popular.
So it was used very much for a thing where somebody was like. Somebody was the example on Know Your Meme was like a young woman talking about going into puberty, and it just had like the sizes of boobs, and then it was just her lip syncing to him. It was just like, no, okay, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, it's often used as like, no, I'm really happy with this. It's good. It's fine. That's too many. You're giving me too much of this. Yeah. Often.
So what happened was that Activision used that clip in a TikTok to sell like a Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Fantano sent them like a cease and desist saying like, that's my fucking shit.
Yeah, because he makes no money off of it.
Right.
So the terms of service on TikTok means that they can use it.
Yeah.
But because of the way they were using it, it's more just shitty to do it that way because it implies a paid partnership,
right?
But it's not,
right?
And so now his voice is being used to sell something that he might not have wanted to sell,
right? So he basically sent them a like, hey, y'all need to cut this shit out, and then Activision took him to court to be like, nah, and they had a whole case. And this was like a month ago. And then this week they just like very quietly like dropped that shit. And I think it's because they looked at the whole thing and they were like, oh, this guy doesn't have anything better to do, and this is just content for him. Like it makes him look good.
Oh yeah, it was a big thing on like the TikTok, like what's going on TikTok news guys for a while.
Yeah,
so this was the only reason I know about it. I don't follow the guy, but I know him kind of a peripheral.
Tangentially,
he shows up on my stuff, but not often enough for me to like care.
Right.
I don't like music reviewers.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot of pretentious dudes. And if you see the guy, you'd be like, yeah. Yeah. He just looks, I mean, come on. The picture they use, he's like a thick rimmed glasses and fucking flannels. Like, come on.
You got the mustache. I don't know. I said this before. I will say it again. I don't know who said it was okay to have mustaches, men. Don't have mustaches. I don't know who said it was okay. It's not okay. Stop it.
Jeff is against mustaches.
Anti-mustache. No. I mean, like if you're, I don't know.
Jeff's mom was killed by a mustache. He just has a vendetta out against him.
Got a Zorro and a mustache, came out of the alley, grabbed my mom's pearls, and they all went. From then on out, I just went around with a fucking Manscaped trimmer. Just, yeah, okay, good. We're all good now.
The Manscaper.
The Manscaper. Yeah, so they dropped that shit, and as well they should, because, again, it's one of those things where it's just like, Activision, Blizzard.
Yeah.
Stop.
So this happens a lot where like companies will use sounds and then the people who like were the creators of that sound are like, don't use my shit.
Yeah.
But this has been the biggest profile one. And typically what happens is they go, don't use my shit, and then they go, okay, and then they just take down that particular ad.
They say, "I, bro."
Yeah, my personal favorite is when the social media people go in the comments of something.
Yeah,
and like it'll be, I don't know, like this is a random example. It's not a real one, but like McDonald's social media will go on and be like, Ronald himself would approve. And then people literally fucking reply to that comment in a video. Like that person will reply to the comment in a video and be like, oh yeah, maybe you should pay your fucking workers 15. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's so funny because they're like, some intern is like, I'm doing the hip cool thing because I'm supposed to. And then people just come on and just blast them out of the water. It's very funny.
Boo.
I always enjoy when people just don't take the attention from corporations. Like, it's funny.
I agree.
It's a good time for me.
Let's see. This is a really weird one. Nintendo seems like they're doing some slight patent trolling in Japan. They filed 32 patents, most of which, like all but one, I believe, were specifically related to Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
They're patenting people's inventions when they smash shit together.
Yes, they're patenting
like this one guy.
Large bridge. Nobody else can use large bridge. Whether this is upheld is difficult to say. Some of the stuff they're doing is very broad. Part of it is like, you know how you can build like a cart and then Link can be on the cart.
Yeah.
A lot of it is very technical, where like the way that they made that work on the Switch is if your Link is standing on a thing, it will see the direction that thing, like the direction of velocity that thing is going, and apply equal direction of velocity to Link. Like in other games, if you were standing on a moving platform, it would be like
fall off.
They would put like a cube on the platform where physics were different on the platform than they were off the platform.
Yeah.
And in this way, it's trying to apply like general physics to everything that's on the platform.
Okay.
I don't know that it's.
Are they patenting physics?
They're patenting that like technique.
Okay.
Of physics. That's what this is. This thing that we're looking at is basically indicating like the way that like the character will end up moving at the same velocity as the thing that they're standing on top of. But they also patented, like, there's one of the guys in Tears of the Kingdom where you shoot an arrow at a guy and then like a lightning bolt hits them, and they're trying to patent that. And there's like some other stuff in there. I couldn't really get a whole list of it. I think that this is probably just like video game companies do this a lot, where they'll try to patent mechanics.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the thing where they patent a mechanic and then they just don't sue anybody that tries to use it, or if they try to patent mechanics and they're just denied because I don't keep up with the patent law of video games. But I do think it's kind of a dick move to just be like,
that's ours now.
That belongs to us. Nobody else can do that.
Yeah.
Mostly because a lot of times the techniques that they end up using, it's like, man, so many games could benefit from using this as an overall programming technique. But you're just like, no, just the one game that we made. And it's like, well, are you going to make another one with the same mechanics? No, we're rebooting the entire franchise next year. We're never going to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, who is it? Warner Brothers, I think, patented like the Nemesis system from from Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, don't do that. Was a great system, and I know you don't know how to do anything with it.
Yeah.
You could have put that shit in a Batman game and it would have ruled, but you didn't. And like you're just gonna come up with this really interesting technique, and then part of the great things about video games is somebody being like, you know what? I had an idea about what you could do with that.
Yeah, and utilize it for something else. Yeah, especially in creative film fields, taking like a how to do it better and keeping it for yourself and wording it like a little fucking dragon.
Yep.
Is always like a.
It'd be like, what if a film company could copyright like one shot scene?
Yeah.
What if like just Sony Pictures has the copyright for the one shot scene, and like they don't even use it that much.
Yeah.
Don't do that. So
Dutch angles, trademark. Can't do it.
John Travolta owns the trademark on Dutch angles.
Why, of all people?
It's Battlefield Earth.
Gross.
Let's see. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle in the Destiny 2 community.
Yeah, what sort of kerfuffle?
Last week they had a whole like state of the game thing. This is going to be a very brief kind of a drive-by news here, because I don't understand.
This whole thing was supposed to be a brief drive-by news.
I don't understand like what they use so many Destiny terms that I don't understand what the fuck they're talking about, and I don't care to go look up like
you're gonna have
all the bullshit
dictionary, the Destiny wiki up.
But here's the deal. Last week they came out with a whole thing where they were talking about what they're going to be doing in the future, and it pissed off a lot of their audience because it seemed like their audience, there's a chunk of the Destiny 2 audience that is in that game for PvP multiplayer made by Bungie, like fans of old Halo that like the way that it feels and they like everything. Apparently Destiny 2 has been like really focusing on narrative content expansions and like giving players one new multiplayer map a year, which is okay.
Yeah.
And so when they did this content update, one of the things they didn't talk about was PvP multiplayer or PvPV or PvEVP, which is where you have two teams that are racing through a map and then killing like AI enemies and trying to hit the same objective type of thing.
Right.
There's a system called Gambit, I believe, in the game that does that, and they didn't mention that at all. So this week they had to kind of come out with like a 15-minute developer thing. One of the big reasons I think they did when I watched this whole 15 minutes and fucking kept trying to rewind it because my brain stopped listening.
Destiny, more like disassociation-y.
Right. Where they said they're going to have another like presentation in like a week. And they were like, just so you guys know, like we are listening to what you're saying, and here's what we're going to do. But I want to start by saying, in a week there's going to be a video that comes out, and we're not going to mention any of this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's going to seem like we aren't listening, but like this was pre-recorded.
This is pre-planned.
Right.
It turns out that everything isn't for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Apparently they're going to be putting together like they have these little internal teams that look at doing stuff. The big takeaway is that they're going to be trying to do next year they're going to be trying to do one big multiplayer drop, but instead of trying to make one big map that basically caters to everything that the community wants, they're going to be making a bunch of small maps that hopefully each have their own individual like flavor to be able to do stuff. And it's one of those things where you read news like this and you're just like, I mean, yeah, right? Like that's how you support a multiplayer game, is adding a bunch of new PvP maps every 6 months. Did you forget that?
Yeah.
You're Bungie.
Like,
you made this.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So there's more to it than there. I get the feeling that Bungie is now owned by Sony and that
Sony did it.
Well, I think that they might be having to take their audience's feral requests a little bit more seriously, because they can't just ignore it, because I don't know if Destiny's fan base is growing, but I don't really even know that many people that play it. And last time I played it, it was kind of dull. So I don't know. Maybe they're really just trying to hang on to the people that are there.
Yeah.
So
that stupid small fan base, or it's huge and I just don't know anybody.
It's entirely possible. Embracer Group is the Swedish company that bought Deus Ex and Tomb Raider and Lord of the Rings and stuff. Just snapping up. They got the Saints Row and Dead Island 2 and all that stuff. And for a while it was like, who the fuck are you guys? Like they just came out of nowhere and started buying studios.
The new cool kid in town.
Yep. A few months back there was a story where basically they were expecting to get a giant cash infusion and then didn't.
Oh.
And it was kind of like the beginning of a thing where they basically had to say like, well, we are going to start kind of scaling back. Like nothing that has currently been announced will be canceled. But we are going to start pulling back on the idea of adding new projects to the list because they were expecting this giant cash influx, and now it's like they kind of got to make it work with what they've got. At the time, though, it was unclear whom that cash influx was supposed to be coming from. Now, through an Axios report and some digging, it turns out that it is the Savvy Games Group, which is the investment group that Saudi Arabia, the government of Saudi Arabia has been funneling oil money out of Saudi Arabia into entertainment properties and game stuff because they know that eventually the oil will dry up, right? Yeah. Like that's a limited resource. It won't go forever. So they want to use their wealth to essentially spider out into other fields. And one of them is huge. They're big in video games right now. They throw a lot of very, very discreet behind the scenes money around.
Yeah.
I think they own most of SNK at this point, if I remember correctly. But they've got the hands in a lot of pies. They actually gave
hands out of my fucking pie.
Embracer Group $1 billion already, and they were supposed to get another $2 billion.
Wow.
So
why didn't they?
Just fell through. I mean, it's entirely possible that they might not have.
Somebody didn't say hello to the right person, and the whole thing fell through, kind of deal.
Let's put it this way: Embracer Group is not saying anything, and nobody wants to ask the guy that had a journalist chopped up and put in a plastic bag why he didn't invest in a video game company.
That's fair.
So, yeah. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is not a great dude.
Yeah.
So
awkward.
Yeah. It also puts a really weird kind of bent on the whole Embracer Group thing, where it was like they were really just kind of seen as very like, it seemed like a cool organization because they just kept buying up like these properties that have been kind of abused over the years and then pledging that they were just going to let these developers make games.
Yeah.
And we're just like,
and
hooray!
All it takes is a little blood money.
Right.
Like,
so
could it not have blood money?
In other bad news, bad international news, Steam's okay, so Steam has a bottom limit on the lowest amount that you can charge for a video game.
Mm-hmm.
You have to charge at least this amount or else you can't put your game on the Steam store.
Yeah.
Due to fluctuating currencies and inflation, that bottom floor is going up for like everybody but the United States. And in some cases, it's going up dramatically. Like in some places, it's going up.
Is it our fault? I'm sorry, guys.
I don't know. In some places, it's going up by like 2%. And in some places, it's going up like 400%.
Jesus.
The places going up 400%, I believe, are, well, they specifically in this article recommended or talked about, this is, yeah, for the Turkish lira and Argentinian pesos, going up 454%, 485% respectively.
Mm-hmm. What was their lowest before? Like, is it for a penny? Do you know what I mean?
The thing is that it's entirely possible that this is just like you've got these countries that have very volatile currencies that are being incredibly hammered by the global inflation because it's not just fucking us that's dealing with that shit.
Yeah.
And that those currencies, if they've swung wildly, it's not like a bad guy thing to be like, if your currency has become a lot less, has a lot less worth on the global financial market, then like we have to adjust the price, the minimum price. Granted, this is not like the maximum. This is just like right now in the United States, you can't sell a game on Steam for less than 99 cents.
Yeah.
And even if you apply, and you can't apply more than a 50%, I believe, discount.
Yeah, you can't be like, it's $20, but it's 100% off.
Right. So in some ways, this is not like the most unreasonable thing, especially compared to a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but it sucks.
It does suck. So yeah, sorry everybody. Let's see.
We didn't do it. They don't let me be in charge of the economy anymore.
Not after the last time. Armored Core 6 came out with their system requirements, and I won't get into the very technical details, but basically, if your PC will run Elden Ring well, it will almost certainly run Armored Core 6.
Yeah.
The other weird thing is that they do have ray tracing for Armored Core 6, but there's a little asterisk, and it says that the ray tracing is only available in the garage where you do the mech loadouts. Like, it's not available in the actual game itself. It's just in this one section. Elden Ring has ray tracing, and it's bad. I get the feeling that From Software doesn't really know what to do with ray tracing.
Yeah.
Because they spent so much time getting, like, not using it.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm going to skip this.
Why are all your ads for automatones, dude?
Oh, because I had a story about it a few weeks back, and now my cookies are just trying to sell me automatones.
I keep seeing them, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I like it. Usually when I stare at your page, it'll be like a couple of different ads.
Yep.
But like every ad.
Yep. Well, it comes from the fact that I only use a few different websites to get the news from, and so when one of them gets on a roll,
it just sticks with it.
Never stops. I think there was a time where you and I looked at some weird fashion stuff at one point.
Yeah, where it was like nipply shirts and like,
and for like 6 months after that, it was just nothing but nipple shirts on my thing.
Like, we got so distracted.
Yep. Far Cry has a new IP director. Kind of an old IP director that's coming back. So Drew Holmes was he's the director. He was the writer on Far Cry Primal,
which
and
I enjoyed.
Far Cry 5.
Okay.
Also BioShock Infinite. He was the lead writer of BioShock Infinite and the first 3 Saints Row games.
Oh,
so,
wow. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which I'm hoping means that Far Cry will be going in a better direction, because 6 was boring and stupid.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people like Primal.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it when I played.
I liked it.
I didn't play it all the way through, but I don't do anything all the way through. But what I played, I did enjoy.
It was fun. It was an interesting little take.
Yeah, I just had fun with it being Far Cry, but not.
Yeah. And then last, before we get up to the trailers, this is the third week in a row that we've had a Katsuhiro Harada story. He's the guy that's making Tekken.
Yeah.
He wears the sunglasses and gets on Twitter and just fucking like tells people off. Like, he's pretty fun. So he had a Twitter thread, and I think this is a really good Twitter thread, especially because I feel like this week on the podcast, you and I kind of have a theme about just like fucking stop.
Yeah.
So somebody, he took a picture of a tweet, and basically the tweet says, "I swear to fuck, if we don't get Eddie in Tekken 8, I will hit at Harada_Tekken with a burning hammer." And then he goes down the list of just like why this is really bad.
Yeah.
Because first off,
he says silly threats.
Oh yeah,
your goofy little threats.
Yep. First off, if he goes to events, event coordinators have to take even implied threats like this seriously, and do stuff like hire security dudes to walk around, or like make sure that he's not in a place where some dude could light a hammer on fire and hit him in the face, you know?
Yeah.
The second one I think is really interesting. 2, company founders, board members, and lawyers, quote, don't like to be intimidated, unquote. So they ask me to cancel inclusion in the game, even though, for example, the specification or character under threat should have been included in the game in the first place. So it's like the idea that it's like, did somebody on the internet, they were like, I'm gonna hit you in the face with a hammer if you don't put that person there? Fuck that guy. Do not put them in there. Delete them from the game. I know we finished them already, but take them out of the fucking game.
Yeah. They're gonna think that they can just threaten us and they're gonna think they got what they wanted because of that threat.
Yep. And then the third one is actually a really cogent point on the internet where he says, I'm just going to read this verbatim. If the person making these threats uses the word we instead of I to represent the fans, the probability of the two aforementioned disadvantages occurring is increased. And then in parentheses, many of them don't understand this. I do not adopt the views of those who use we when expressing their opinions. It is up to development team to determine whether the opinion is majority or minority, and the person expressing the opinion says, quote, everyone around me says so, and then parentheses, at most 5 to 6 people around me is irrelevant. So basically the idea that somebody gets all up in arms and then like them in their little weird tech and echo chamber are like, no, we demand Eddie Gordo. And it's like, he's just like you and your buddies. You don't represent the will of the fucking Tekken people. Like, I'm the guy making the fucking game. Don't come at me asking for shit. That's like traditionally or famously he wore that shirt that just said like, don't ask me for shit.
I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
I used to love Tekken too, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So
I still love Tekken, but I also used to love Tekken.
Yep. Last 2 weeks ago, he went onto somebody's Twitch stream because he thought that they were cheating and like showing stuff, and then he literally went to their Twitch stream and was like, you need to stop playing this or I'm going to ban you from Tekken forever.
Oh my God.
And they were like, you're not the real guy. And he's like, look at my Twitter. And he was like, I'm watching you right now, like stop it. And he was like, okay, I'm quitting. So I don't even remember what happened last week, but
that's amazing.
It's been pretty fun.
Yeah. Why does nobody have why don't I ever get threatened like that by anybody famous?
Are you following Katsuhiro Harada on Twitter?
No, but Suda51 is following me.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he still is. I check every once in a while.
Let's get some trailers out of the way. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, as mentioned before, got a full-on gameplay trailer today.
Whoa.
As opposed to just the weird cinematic.
Very timely submarine.
Oh, yes. Yep. Hey, guess what, Amanda?
Yes, sir.
Call of Duty looks like Call of Duty.
Yeah, it sure does. That's a lot of... I always feel like whenever graphics are okay, but they want to make it look even better, they make it wet.
Yep.
They always go, what if it's moist?
Yep.
Now it looks real. And it's like, does it? Or are you masking something?
Yeah, I mean, this looks like hella like a Call of Duty game. It looks hella like a Modern Warfare game. Panopticon, that's the name of it.
Panopticon.
Sorry, that type of prison with the thing down the middle, that's a Panopticon.
You just shouted that at me.
I was playing a game.
I felt threatened, and I didn't know what was happening.
I was playing some game that or watching a movie or something that had a Panopticon, and I was like, what the fuck is that called? Yeah, they're showing a lot of like special forces dudes. The Price and the lady and the soaps and the roaches, and they're all ghosts are out there. And they're
good. The fangirlies will.
They're talking about the stuff. They're driving around. And
there's a whole sect of women. I think they're on TikTok that are like wildly attracted to ghosts.
Yep.
And that there were a group of guys that were like, no, fuck you. This is for the bros. And then everyone's response was like, here you were having an in with women and ruining it the second you could.
I think I remember when that happened, to be honest.
They got so mad. They were so ready to gatekeep him. And all these girls were like, I am sexually attracted to this Call of Duty character. And all the guys were like, no, you're not. Fuck you. Get away.
That's
we
not
don't want you being horny and near Call of Duty.
Right. One of the big things I think in this, and this is a question from last week, was this is following the story of original Modern Warfare 2, where this Makarov is the bad guy, and that was the one that had the no Russian sequence where you go into the airport and shoot the civilians.
Oh yeah, very memorable.
And at the very end of this trailer, they show a guy on an airplane with obviously like 3D printed gun, and then he has a cell phone, and it says like no Russian, and then it shows him like getting up and like threatening people on an airplane. So looks like they're gonna edgelord their way into another fucking bunch of news stories about Call of Duty. So yeah, but hey, that I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nito Toledo, am I right, my dudes?
One of the big things about Activision this whole time since Activision Blizzard and all their bullshit started, where it's like, oh no, Activision is having problems, and I'm like, I don't care, shut them down, cancel all the Call of Duty games, delete World of Warcraft off the internet, and fucking say you're just keeping everybody's money and buying cocaine with it. I don't care. These are not my games. Like, and even if it was Elden Ring 2, and they were like, we're canceling Elden Ring 2 and we're deleting the first one, I'd be like, oh, shit happens, nothing lasts forever. That's the whole point.
All I ever think about when people do that shit, like, what if it was something you loved, is the from Tombstone. I think it's the like main bad guy. There's just like, it's used as a gif a lot, where he's just like, well, bye.
Yes.
All right. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. There'll be something new. That'll be something new to be my new favorite thing. I'm always looking for my next favorite thing.
Yeah.
Anybody that's had the same favorite thing for more than like 5 years.
Art.
Yep.
I'm always interested in different art.
Yep.
Do not just sell me the same print over and over again.
Exactly. Speaking of art, sort of, we got our first gameplay trailer for Hyenas, which is a game that's being made by Creative Assembly, who made like the a lot of the Total War series. This is a 3-person team extraction game where you're trying to get like these things from a vault in the middle of like a multiplayer kind of battle royale type of thing.
Okay.
It's some of it is in 0G, and they're making their money with these very like weird characters and kind of goofy levels.
They look like Borderlands-y to me.
I can see that.
Just like not the same art style, obviously, but like the way they make their characters,
kind of the attitude.
The like, super sexy Harley Quinn-esque kind of characters, but like with a touch of Borderlands to them.
Yep. It looks kind of generic to me. It looks like one of those things where they're like, well, what's going to set us apart? And they're like, 0G? Like, do people want that?
I mean, I don't know if it's fun. You know what I mean?
That is a Sega Genesis. I like there's using like a Sega Genesis as a bomb, and like they blow into the cartridge before they do it. It's also being published by Sega, so they've got all this like Sonic
stuff. Yeah, it might be worth it just for that. Like, just to have a little fun with that.
Yeah, they show some interesting stuff like glue gun, kind of like this like shield stopper.
Yeah. The
thing that's I can't help but be a little bit disappointed with this though, because this is what the gameplay looks like. This was announced at the Summer Games Fest, and just FYI, This is what it looked like when it was announced. It looked like Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it does.
And I was like, oh, it would be so cool to play a game that used the filters, like it had filters and an art style, maybe even a little bit of choppiness that made it look like Spider-Verse. You can even see a lot of the characters in here that we saw in the other one, and they just look so much more dynamic.
Yeah, this looks a lot better.
This, to me, even though it's still a third-person online shooter, looks more interesting. It has more flavor than the other one, which has still good character design, but it doesn't have the same like style.
Yeah, they're
to
just
it.
Not popping like they are in this.
Yeah. So a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could end up being good, but
it's just this clip of a guy beating another guy with a teddy bear.
Yep. Let's see. Skull and Bones.
Jesus Christ.
Has a closed beta.
Keep it closed.
Beta.
I don't want it.
August 25th through the 28th. Closed.
You know what? I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy the game when it comes out.
Oh, yeah?
Just because.
Yeah?
Somebody's got to.
Somebody. Well, you know.
Somebody's got to jump on that grenade.
Well, you know I'm going to buy it, right? Like, like, I don't know.
I'm going to get it, and I'm going to be the best fucking Skull and Bones player.
I'm going to rule this fucking game.
This weight has just made me a fanatic. You know what? I've turned a corner.
Yeah. The
Oh, that's soon. That's a closed beta. That's happening
next week. Yep. I have my prediction, for what it's worth, is they put out the closed beta and then the feedback is negative, and then they decide they need to delay it for another 9 months to rework it.
Jesus Christ! There's a point where you just have to you
gotta dodge the bullets.
Do it.
You got to put it out without split screen. Ubisoft.
Yeah.
In other beta news, we got the news that the Mortal Kombat beta weekend is coming up.
Yeah.
Actually, by the time
will have come and gone.
It will have come and gone by the time you read this.
Kind of want to play it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hyped about it.
Got some towers. They showed that it's going to be, the characters are going to be Liu Kang, Katana,
Frost,
Johnny Cage. No, those are cameo characters.
So
it's going to be Liu Kang, Katana, Johnny Cage, Lee Mu, I don't remember her name, and Sub-Zero. And maybe
no Scorpion?
Kintaro, or whatever his name is, the blind swordsman guy. I think he might be one of the characters you can play as. I don't remember. He's Kenshi. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Kintaro, isn't he the like a centaur?
That would be Motaro, I believe.
Okay.
Kentaro, is that the? I don't remember if he's the tiger.
That's actually just
Tiger Goro.
A Ken from Barbie is Motaro.
Right.
He's just pink. He's a Kentaro.
It's a Kentaro. Let's see. We got the launch trailer for En Garde.
En Garde.
If you're a patron of RageSelect, you can already see this. I fucking love this game. It's like a third-person swashbuckling action game where you play as a lady pirate.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it's got like real deep, like Souls style mechanics where you have to do parries and stuff, but you can also like.
I mean, it's a swashbuckly sword fighty. If you didn't have parries, what's the point?
Well, it's all parries, right? Like it's, but you can also like kick barrels into people. You like hit a button to vault over a table and then kick it back to stun the guy. And then like,
oh man, this looks fun.
It's got a lot of like flying through the air with the greatest of ease, and I just love the way it looks.
Musketeersy.
Yeah, like it looks like just very.
You know what
fun.
It reminds me of? This is weird. There's a movie starring Gene Kelly called The Pirate.
Okay.
Where he is an actor, but he lies and says that he's this pirate, and he's in love with Judy Garland.
Okay.
And it's kind of swashbuckly like this, and it's on the shores of. She's supposed to be Hispanic. I can't remember where they are. It's very funny to hear Judy Garland say Spanish words.
There you go.
But it has a very that kind of feel because it's a little Technicolor-y. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fun movie. You should watch it.
This is on Steam right now.
Hell yeah! Put it on something I'll play it on.
Yep. It's hard too. It's very very challenging. Yeah. Let's see. Another sword fight in action. We got another DLC for Shredder's Revenge, with the the new character. What's her name? Karai. Mm-hmm. I don't know who that is really. It's just
I thought she was a villain, but I
think she could be. Yeah, so adding another character and then adding some new kind of like game modes. I do like this one where in the background you've got the that's Venus de
she's like a Foot Clan member.
And
the
lady from Channel 6, it's not April.
Her like bestie.
And then like the kid with who wants to be the Ninja Turtle, and I don't know who that guy is. So, and they're being savaged by like a Krang, some kind of Krang. And like
some kind of Krang is actually the name of my folk metal band.
Some kind of Krang.
Yeah, she's a Foot Clan member.
Okay.
I think sometimes they portray her as like Shredder's daughter or something.
Okay.
She's the person that took over after Shredder, at least.
Okay. I do really like this.
I didn't read any of those comics. Don't get mad at me if you're one of the fucking nerds.
I like this comic book filter. I'm not sure if this was in there before.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they did put in like some new skins for them that make them look like they're in like the Sega Genesis games.
Yeah, that's cute. I like it.
But like I like these stages that are these comic book panels.
There's like Mondo Gecko in the background.
Is that?
Yeah, isn't it? The little lizard guy in the back corner?
No idea. No idea. I don't know Ninja Turtles that well, apparently.
Paul Rudd plays his character in the movie, in the latest movie, and that shit is just delightful. He's so fucking stupid.
Okay. Yeah, so that's coming out, I believe that's August 31st.
Nice.
So
that's the day before my birthday.
Boom! Check it.
Chitty check.
Okay, Dragon Ball Z.
I'm not Michael.
I know. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot has another DLC. This is the DLC that bridges the gap between original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, thank God.
World Tournament.
That gap has been bothering me for ages.
The thing is, Michael explained it to me one time of just like Dragon Ball fans have been playing the one little section of Dragon Ball in video games for years, and now this one has like extended it way forward this way and pushed it back to the point where it's like, oh, now you've got a place where you can play the whole of your favorite franchise. I can't think of like another game that really does that.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
I just don't understand.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I tried.
I'm so far from the pulse of anything Dragon Ball that I'm like, huh?
Yeah. And that is coming out the day we record this, so it'll already be out by the time you hear this.
Oh, congratulations, everybody.
Hammerwatch Anniversary Edition is out. Hammerwatch is an old game. We did a dojo for the sequel that just came out. It appears that the sequel also allowed them to kind of up-res / remaster the original. Mm-hmm. So that also came out this week.
Ah, there's a lot going on screen right now.
It's very kind of Gauntlet-esque. Yeah. So let's see.
Quantum.
This is a difficult thing to talk about because we're already out of time. There's this game called Quantum Error. I'd never heard of this thing before. It's being made by an indie development team, and it's a weird horror game. And it's about like a guy who is a firefighter who goes to like an offshore research facility. But Amanda, like...
They're Cthulhu monsters, or was that just...
Yeah, no, I mean, like, if you look at this, it looks like Dead Space, and it looks like Control, and it looks like Returnal.
Yeah.
And there's, like, all kinds of, like, weird outer space and, like, Cthulhu
they're like
monsters.
Event Horizon met with Control, met with...
like Resistance or something. Yeah. I never heard of this before, and then I watched this and I was like, this kind of looks rad as hell.
Yeah,
like,
I'm definitely not against it. I'm confused by it.
Yeah, me too.
Ooh,
but like,
yeah, dude, I'm getting a lot of Event Horizon off of this.
Yeah, very weird imagery, like very striking and weird imagery.
Yeah.
The only thing I think that's a little strange is that this trailer, this is like the release date trailer, it is 4 minutes long, which is a lot of montage for one trailer. Like,
oh yeah, I'm starting to see the Control stuff in it too.
Yeah, there's some very strange kind of like things, like the scale of things or things that would normally be on the floor or on the ceiling type of thing.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of space to it as well, which just, you know, and there's like zombies, but there's also a bunch of firefighter stuff.
Yeah, and honestly, like it's a lot of that combination sounds great to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Which this game had, we got the news that it had gone gold, but it actually has a full-on release date, which is November 3rd.
Huh,
so, yeah, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go watch this trailer. It's weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Also, that main guy kind of looks like Bradley Cooper, just like a little bit.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the Callisto Protocol, but good.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, we got Escape Simulator is getting a Portal DLC.
Nice.
You and I played the Escape Room College one.
Yeah.
But Escape Simulator is just like full multiplayer Steam escape room.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And Portal, that's like up our alley.
Yep. And so they put in a lot of Portal. And yeah, you can play. I think you get up to like 6 people or something in one room at the same time.
Gross. I don't even want to be with 6 people in one room in real life.
So yeah, that's
I love their people designs. They're so cute.
That's coming out. That'll be out. That's already out. No, it's
September 7th.
Sorry.
What year is it?
My brain
jumped ahead a month.
No, my brain gets really confused with August and September.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. They're just like they flippity floopity. I don't know what numbers they are.
Yeah.
I gotta keep counting in my head. Like I keep having to remind myself that it's August.
It's the dead zone between 4th of July and the like Halloween.
And Halloween, yeah. So
not for me. My birthday is right dead smack in the middle of it. But you know, for people who don't care about my birthday or who I am as a person.
Just throw that last little one in there.
Well, you know.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Assassin's Creed Origin, or the new Assassin's Creed Mirage is releasing a week early. So previously,
fuck, I feel like I haven't heard a video game releasing early in so long that my brain just short-circuited for a second.
Baldur's Gate 3 got moved up a week.
Did it?
Yep. It was supposed to come out a week later than it did. So yeah.
And they have 1,000 things they're going to fix the next time they fix something. So
yeah,
maybe they should have waited that week.
August.
That would have solved it.
It was supposed to be August 14th, and now it's going to be August 5th. So, bada bing, bing, boom. What is this?
August 5th. Does that mean it's already out?
Oh, October. No. Okay. October 5th, not October 12th.
Gotcha.
There we go.
I was like, dang, dude, old news. We're past it. Everyone knows and they're playing it.
This is a really weird story, and I take it with a big grain of salt. A German site put Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl up for a December 1st release. Stalker 2 is being made by a company that is in Ukraine. They have moved all of their offices to Prague because of,
I
war.
think we talked about the moving and stuff.
There hasn't been any real word about this, so it's unclear why they would have put it on their website for December 1st, whether this is something where they just leaked it ahead of time and it's going to be December 1st. Usually when companies put like a placeholder for the end of the year, it's December 31st, not the 1st. So
yeah. I mean, but still, I feel like the 1st is kind of could just be a placeholder.
Could be a placeholder as well. Unclear. Let's see. Quake 2 got a big re-release from Quake World last week. So this is a free release that comes with the original campaign, along with the Reckoning Ground Zero, and a new thing called Call of the Machine, some new graphics upgrades that you could do, a bunch of accessibility stuff. Basically, this is just Machine Games, who is like the id Software's primary content division, taking something that's easy to remaster and put out, and remastering it and putting it out. I'd forgotten how Quake 2 looked before I watched this trailer, and I was like, oh, right. Kind of bad.
Remember
not horrible.
That game we played not long ago that was like, Rise of the Triad?
Yeah.
And we both were like getting real nauseous by the end of it.
Yeah.
This kind of get that same vibe. A little better. Definitely better.
A little better.
But like it's just got that same vibe.
Yeah.
That like a lot of movement.
True. Let's see. Papers, Please is 10 years old, and what's really weird is they put on itch.io a demake of it, where it's like a simulator of like a little tiger handheld.
Oh my god!
Thing.
Look at little approve deny buttons. That's kind of funny.
Yep. And so somebody they have a little thing. They have these little like faux cut scenes where it has writing at the bottom, and then like somebody will walk up, and it's really funny because it's simulated like the thing where you had like a character, and then they've got this weird screen where they kind of put together a face out of a real Wooly Willy style thing.
That straight up looks like the baby from Eraserhead. Not even kidding.
And then they bring up their like papers, and then there's just an approve and deny button, and that's pretty much it.
That's fun. Pretty fun. When people do stuff like that. Yep. Whoa, that is very detailed face.
You could literally play this in a browser window on itch.io. Like you could do it. So, yeah, go check it out.
Hell yeah.
I kind of want to put it on. I kind of want to make this the actual thing. I kind of want to put it on the actual thing. So,
on an actual.
Like I want to make an actual handheld. Like I have one of the Nintendo, like the Super Mario Brothers things. I feel like if you pull the front off, you could 3D print a new front and then paint it, and then load that as a.
That would be kind of fun.
Rewire the buttons,
bust it out every once in a while.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Amanda,
what?
I hear you like that Lollipop Chainsaw.
I did. Many years ago is the only review I did for the loading bar.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There was a remake in progress.
Yeah, I remember that. Like no one was involved.
Yep. Well, it's like the original publisher, but then not any of like the actual talent or anything.
My close personal friend Suda51 was not involved,
or James Gunn or anybody.
Yeah.
So the game got a full it has a full name now. It's called Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, and it is been delayed to summer of next year. So. I mean, the thing is that if all they do is make it look better and they use all the lines and they keep everything the same, then like it's still Suda51 / James Gunn just looking better and accessible on newer systems. But
more problematic now than before.
Yes. And then last but not least, let's do some hardware stuff.
Your generation had Barbie. My generation had Lollipop Chainsaw. We are not the same.
We are not the same. Nintendo Switch wireless N64 controller is back in stock.
Oh. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yep. But I love the N64 controller. So.
Remember when they put out NES and Super NES controllers for the Switch Online ROMs, right? And then when they put the N64 stuff on, they made an N64 controller. It's $50. You have to be a Nintendo Switch Online like customer in order to order one. They were sold out. They're back out. I
mean, I have a light, so it doesn't matter. I can't use it anyway. But
you could sync it up and then just put it, prop
it's like
it up.
A whole thing.
Yeah,
it's like a whole damn thing.
Well, then how about this? Okay, how about a Nintendo Switch controller that is small enough that you can take it with you wherever you go? I'm
interested, but I do have these big old pudgy fingers. Got them sausage fingers.
8-bit DO.
That is tiny. That looks like a tiny little Altoids tin.
Yeah, 8-bit DO, who makes a lot of like really cool custom controllers. They have these like micro controllers.
Yeah,
they're very small, but
I like to play on those because I like to pretend I'm a giant.
It kind of reminds me though that I bought that little like emulator thing, and the buttons were so small and so close together that it cramped my hands up, so I probably couldn't do this. But what's interesting about this too is the fact that they packed a lot into this, because it's got a D-pad, it's got the 4 face buttons, and then it's got a start and select, and then it's also got kind of a share. But if you also notice, it's got 2 shoulder buttons, or 4 shoulder buttons. It's got the L and R, but then like an L2 R2. And these things are $25.
Yeah, you could get it in green.
Yeah, they come in green and blue.
Nice. And that's a very strange color combination, green and blue.
Sync them up to your Nintendo Switch or anything else that has Bluetooth and play video games tinily. Tinily.
I like to pretend I'm a giant. I like to think, what would Andre the Giant feel like playing
like a Nintendo
NES
game?
And this is it. He wouldn't. He would just smash his giant French hand on everything.
He would just drink a lot of beer.
Yeah.
If you're interested, somebody made a really cool Starfield custom PC. This is basically like, because of the whole like weird NASA punk thing that Starfield is using, they've been doing it has a very unique style. So this was getting like a custom case designer to come in and make a case. The whole thing like leans, which is a little strange.
It fucking leans back like a cholo.
It's like a trapezoid or whatever.
Yeah, that looks like a little face.
Yep.
Sorry. I've been buying a lot of puppets lately, so everything looks like faces to me now.
Driving must be a real pain in the ass.
I have no idea.
Well, if you're buying a lot of puppets thing, you might be interested in our very last thing.
Maybe. The
Pokemon Company is selling the Wigglets plush, and the internet is comparing it to other things.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So Wiglet is a Diglett, but it's like
a long neck.
Yep. It's got a little pink nose at the top of it, which from the side makes it look a bit naughty. Yeah. Somewhat naughty.
Yep. 10.25 inches. Not bad.
Yep.
Not bad at all.
I guess
flared base and everything.
$25 as well. So a tiny controller or a big long plush.
For $50 and you can do both at the same time.
You take your pick.
I mean, if the controller has a rumble pack in it, you are set.
There you go. And that's it.
Well, what a great way to end.
We're only 15 minutes over time. We only had to
that's
cut,
pretty good for us.
2 stories, I think. So,
yeah, but those stories suck.
Yeah, they did suck. One of them was a Starfield timeline, and it did suck. Patreon.com/RageSelect.
You know what doesn't suck?
Patreon.com/RageSelect. Holy shit. All right. I've managed to get to the end of this death march. I have got to go to sleep, but I'm just going to play that I Am Future game for just like
a little bit of time.
I got to go to Taco Bell. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have
all
anything.
Good decisions all at once.
We put Spider-Verse on the side. I'm going to eat this Taco Bell. I'm going to play high. Nothing bad is going to happen to anybody ever.